With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Well, some would say, aka Derek Watson, that this would be the first time I've done a road course this season in the PRL, but we start with a short track for the NASCAR Truck Series at IRP, or what most fans remember it as, but ORP sounds even better. I'm Terry Radford. Derek Watson is on the side, and we have two action-packed races that'll come to us. The first one starting under the lights here tonight, Derek, and you raced a little bit of this today. There's a lot of opportunities for caution, but a lot of opportunities for some action too.
A lot of opportunities. We're going to spend the whole night in somewhere in the suburbs of Indianapolis. We're going to go from a very short track, about 10 miles northwest of Indianapolis, all the way down to the track itself. But we'll start here in this track, and you're right, lots of wall riding, lots of beating and banging. This is a tough schedule here. This is week 8, on the schedule. Lucas Oil Raceway, or IRP, so most would call it as. We're going to finish off with the Glen and then the Milwaukee Mile, Terry, to finish the season.
Can't wait. We'll enjoy back-to-back road courses together, just on different schedules, right? And the Milwaukee Mile, good to have them back on the schedule for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and over here in the PRL. We'll take a look at our points for our individual drivers, with Alan Dice starting to roll away, but Cody Atkins, Steve Loving, Dallas Sullivan right there with Kevin McGarvey. Your top 5 has an opportunity to flip the dynamic here this afternoon. If the 5 of Alan Dice has an issue, one of those 4 drivers could potentially jump them, with Brett Adams, Palumbo, Karakoff, Shane, and Schmidt, your top 10. And Derek, take a look at those team championships. It looks very tight there as well, from second on back.
Yeah, second on back, right. Loaded Dice has a pretty solid lead right now. And then CPR, Black Flag Racing, Love Racing, all right there within 11 points. You got Riding Shotgun Motorsports Outlaws back there at 418, and then DDI all day, DDI every day, Consult Info, Whataback Traffic Control, and then Beacon Bogue Motorsports rounds out your top 10.
It's very interesting to see that Austin Hunter's team can't get it done. But you know who does get it done for us? That's our sponsors here this afternoon. We'll start with Advanced Sim Racing, who's owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the most sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulating cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. And then RaceBox. They offer high and mid-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. They're competitively priced and carefully handcrafted. Their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceBoxSimRacing.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. And then, my favorite, the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourselves in the driver's seats with the Butt Kicker. You go to Mechasim Hardware back there, the small company from the Czech Republic. Their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for high-end pedal sets, hand brakes, or sequential shifters, visit Mechasim Hardware's e-shop right now to get yourself up to speed. You know what else can help you get up to speed? Moradness, the performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. And then your favorite one, Derek, if you want the highest quality pictures, or whether it's your finest moment, your proudest, or your worst in up to 8K resolution, go to Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography.com or check them out on Facebook at Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. It'll be a great addition to any sim room today. And we'll get ready to wrap up this practice session that is, commenced upon us here. And we'll take a look at some qualifying as well. It's time for qualifying here as we switch the server, and we'll start to see these drivers go out here and lay some fast times down.
We will. Now, here's the trick to qualifying, Terry. The fastest line around this track is basically riding the wall. However, if you touch the wall in iRacing, your qualifying lap does not count. So we're going to start by watching, I think this is the 312, pardon me, there on the screen there. We're going to watch it. This is Austin Hunter. So this will be a tricky qualifying. Like, I suspect there'll be a couple drivers who will get invalidated laps here tonight, Terry, because they actually scuffed the wall during a Q lap.
Yeah, just called Road to Pro here. Last Thursday night, a decent amount of cautions in the evening, and no surprise, but we'll see. The last time me and that Joey Tebben guy that we'll see race coming up soon in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the PRL, I believe we ran all of 8 laps under the green flag here, and we'll take a look here at the 312 as he throws down his lap. He's going to be third, about a 10th off of the time, and we'll see him perfectly exiting in that Toyota established traffic control number 312 coming down the back straightaway. And I would be shocked if this isn't one of his better runs, as he enjoys, the white knuckle type racing that you get here at a short track. And he's about a half a second off, and well, now he's only 2/10 off, 292 off of the Hayden Palumbo. Got to get the words correct, and Dallas Sullivan takes the top spot. And there's Oliver Goff on the racetrack now in the 85.
Yeah, meanwhile, off screen, I can tell you that both Ryan Traver and Dalton Geyer have both spun under Q laps, and therefore
Goff is too.
Speaking of which, there you go. See, I know what I'm talking about, man. Just right out of that corner. Oh man. I guess if you're going to spin, you might as well look at that. Got the team name in there and everything. That's good. It's good media work right there.
Took some practice how to spin the thing out. And what stinks is he's going to have to reset here. You don't want to cross the line, reset, and then come back. And here goes Zachary Austin in the Flamingo truck, trying to set down a better time here on lap number 2. And you ran here just a little while ago with some of the drivers that are in this field right now. And what did you learn in that practice session?
I think I learned how valuable restart. Oh, hold on.
Oh, again.
Wow, what I'm learning is, all kidding aside, this track must have a different temperature or something or aggression than what the C fixed races have in iRacing, because I did not see, of all the problems we had in our race, spinning was not one of them. No, but I think what you learn is how valuable the restarts are, and making sure you stay clean during those. If you can get 2 laps in and start to spread the trucks out a little bit, there's opportunities to stay green. It's dealing with those first couple laps and going in. Here's Steve Lovey here. And they come out of 2 there. Very short track. Now this is 3 and 4. He's almost up against the wall. He could get a little higher if he wanted to. Oh, he just hit the wall, by the way. I am almost going to think there's going to be different people up front tonight, Terry, and when qualifying is over, just because of how many people have lost their trucks and lost grip during this qualifying run.
Well, we talked about points on the initial part of the show. Brett Adams is right there in the thick of things. So is Steve Loving. He's 2 spots ahead of Alan Dice. Can he improve on lap 2? Oh, man, got loose. I don't think that counts.
That looked like that hit the wall, so I'm going to guess that. Nope. Nope, 0 time.
Invalid lap. But look at it like this: is Kevin McGarvey needed a decent start. He's going to start second. Track position could be key. Dallas Sullivan as well. Alan Dice, Cody Atkins is going to start in the thick of things in 8th and 9th, respectively. That's the only drivers who has set a time. Barrett Hilton has not come out. Garrett Austin, Kirby, Shane Hillman have not set a qualifying time. So as the time whittles down, I would imagine that this is it.
And they're not going to. Everyone in iRacing has marked that they are done with qualifying, minus Alex Hillman, who's not yet connected to the server. So we'll probably wait out the last 30 seconds here on this track. And this is a nice track, Terry. You know, this track built back in, I think, the 50s or 60s. It actually has a road course that is no longer usable. Had a beautiful 2.2 mile road course here that during an insurance inspection, the insurance adjuster determined that the pit out was unsafe and made the track concrete off the exit, therefore making the road course unusable. And there you go. There's the NHRA sign, pardon me. This is a really famous NHRA drag strip.
Hey, we found Junior and Steve Meyer.
Did we really? Can we go back to that? I missed that.
Yeah, they were.
Apparently we can't get back to static cams. Okay.
Yeah, they were right there. They're on the NHRA drag strip. As we take a look at our starting lineup, Brett Adams gets the pole, Kevin McGarvey, Dallas Sullivan, Hayden Palumbo, Matthew Karakoff, and Steve Loving, your top 6.
Going back to P7's Dalton Guy with Alan Dice, your points leader back there in P8. Cody Atkins and Zach Panzarella currently round out your top 10. And then 11 and 12 is Ryan Traver and C.M. Pennington.
13th goes to Austin Hunter, Stacy Hunter, no relation. To the outside, Timothy Emmanuel and Thomas Brindle, your top 16. They got Zachary Austin and Philip Beaver, 18th.
And then Colton Easterday, Robert Goff round out 19 and 20, with Tom and Massey, Oliver Goff, and Richard Pruitt rounding out your 23 cars here. Everyone put in a lap here this evening. And then it looks like not putting in a lap is, let's go 24, Garrett Austin, and then Barron Hilton, Adam Schoen, Stephen Kirby, and Alex Hillman will round out your 28 trucks in this race.
It doesn't look like Pruitt. There we go. There's Junior and Steve Meyer on the screen on the bottom right. Yeah, we found them. It's like finding where's Waldo, but it's fine Junior and
and I guess we should say real quick, and maybe you're new to iRacing, you don't know this, every track they are somewhere. It's not obvious usually. So you have to kind of use your camera tools and go find them. So good job to our producer, Dustin Ollis, to find them right there.
Dustin always does a pretty good job. We won't say that out loud. We don't want him to think that he's good or anything. But he's there. We'll see if the racing's good. Currently at the moment, Alan Dice. Waiting on him to. We see he's just loaded into the server there to get on the grid, and
he's back there in 8th. Yeah.
Hillman still has not loaded up. He would be 28th. He would be outside the final row. Haven't seen him go, and looks like he's not going to. So the 11 is either going to start on pit road or not start at all. So 27 trucks have taken the field, and we'll see if that stays the same here. And we're going to go 40 minutes or 108 laps. I would put my money on the time. I don't know about you, Derek, but the time seems like a no-brainer here.
The time would not pay well in Vegas odds, I think, is what you're trying to say. We'd pay 1-to-1 at this rate, basically.
Something like that. I think if we rolled the dice on if we were going to hit the time here or not. I mean, we're around 8. A lot of drivers are close in points, close enough to be a little bit more aggressive here in this series. So we'll see where that takes us as we're coming to 1 to go.
An interesting perspective about this here, 1 to go on the race for the first start of the race. Some drivers want to start outside, Terry. I know I like to start on the inside and kind of work my way out. So I'm curious to see how certain drivers behave here, but we're about to go green here, and Brett Adams is going to lead them around.
See what Brett Adams can do, and come from a different racetrack last week that was a little bit more high speed of Michigan to a short track here at IRP. And restart zone's a little weird here as it's right off the exit of the corner. Here they go into the restart zone. Green flag is out now. We're racing at IRP, and hey, think you were right. That outside lane, Kevin McGarvey was able to hold serve on Brett Adams there for first.
See now this, oh, he got loose on the inside. Man, you saw that truck wiggle, and that's gonna let him go. That's gonna let that 77 truck of McGarvey on by.
Oh, in the
there's a wreck.
wall. Oh, big wreck.
That's Pennington. I think that's Zachary Austin.
That's a Regan Bogue Motorsport driver as well, and that's not what they needed. I mean, they're in the doghouse in points team-wise, and that already took some damage on some drivers here. That not the way we wanted to start the race there.
No, definitely not. I was going to make a comment right before Brett Adams got loose. Let's watch this wreck again here, though. Oh,
Panzarella just got in the wall up there.
Two different wrecks actually happen and sort of meet together, if you notice that. There's the issue with Pennington up front, and then there's Zachary. I think Zachary Austin in the truck next to him just kind of tried to check up and didn't do it well. Well, one thing I don't think we need to talk about tonight, Terry, for the most part, are pit stops. If this race goes as yellow as some of the drivers thought it would when I talked to them pre-race, if you're top 10, maybe top 15, you cannot risk giving up your spot to pit here. And frankly, with how short the pace laps are, it's almost impossible to get any damage fixed.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure that we're going to pit at all in this race, unless we get a long green flag run. I still don't see us. I still don't see us necessarily pitting at any point in time. Panzarella's going to come down pit lane for some damage repair. He was riding at the 13th position. That'll drop him back. Tom Macy, CM Pennington with a ton of damage. He's been on pit road for about 45 or so seconds. He'll go a lap down here in this in the opening caution. As you see right here, there's Panzarella. Got loose, smacked the wall, took a lot of rear damage there. I couldn't necessarily see who that truck was that went right into the back end of him, but
yeah, I might have been wrong. I think those two wrecks were simultaneous, Terry. I don't think one caused the other, for the record.
No, I think they were. I think it was synchronized different, but I don't think it was one. I think Panzarella getting in the wall didn't affect what the 45 and them did behind.
See a different look at this here. Ooh. That was just a slow truck that Pennington got into. I think he just wasn't expecting that truck to be that slow in the corner, but
yeah, we're going to see a lot of this tonight.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of this tonight. We're one to go again here. Like I said, if they can get 2 laps in, Terry, maybe 3, you'll start to spread this field out a little bit, and it becomes easier to go without a caution. But let's see what happens here. There'll still be a restart on the leader.
And we rolled reverse here because McGarvey was to the outside, Adams was to the inside, and then McGarvey got the race lead. We'll put them in different lanes. They come to the restart zone, green flags back in the air. It's no sweat for Kevin McGarvey. He's going to get a great jump, and that's everything he needed as we go 2x2 throughout the field. We'll see Canal and Dice work his way up here. He's got Karakoff right in front of him. We make it through 1 and 2 cleanly. Did we make it through the first official lap clean?
There you have it. That's your first official clean lap of the night. Plenty of close racing here. Now, the way this line works, in my opinion, is the outside lane is faster. There's no arguing that. The only way you make the inside work is if you dive the inside and then pull the old classic Dale Jr. slide job and pull back in front of the truck that you're trying to pass.
Yeah, we'll see here as you got Hayden Palumbo catching up to the back bumper of the 23 of Brett Adams. If Brett's qualifying time matches the truck that he has in race pace, he should be fine and content there in second. The Road to Pro race, open setup wise, does not affect this one, but the track position part and the key of it did make a difference as Hayden Palumbo was very loose right there. And caution flags out. That is Colton Easterday and Barron Hilton.
Man, Easterday's been on a real bad luck streak lately, Terry. Just involved in things and not always his fault. That 9 truck's just taking a real beating this season. We'll wait and see what happens here. They're both going to avoid getting lapped. That's the good news. This will be caution number 2 on the evening. And yeah, we're quickly approaching that clock being the deciding factor. We might already be there. I'd have to look in a second after this replay.
Here it goes. And Easterday just got loose and nowhere. Barron Hilton got loose with him. They never made contact. No, just got loose and loose.
Barron Hilton, I think, tried to stab the brakes to avoid Easterday. And when you're in that bottom groove where the transition is a little bit rougher than it is on the top side, you stab your brakes like that, and that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to lose the car. But I think that's what happened. It's probably that brake bias is set in a certain way that it just caused that car to loop around when he stabbed the brakes like that.
Well, and that does put us here as we go on board with Barron Hilton.
Watch it again here.
Yeah, he had no choice but to lock it up. Once he locked it, he was around.
So talk us through, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second because you're better at this part than I am. Talk us through brake bias for a second. It's one of the few things drivers can adjust here. You can move it pretty far forward or pretty far backwards. So talk everybody through what that does to a truck at a track like this.
Well, in the fixed setup world, that's all you have. You can't adjust anything else but the brake bias. If you put too much on the front, it's really going to make you slide. If you put a lot on the rear, as the run progresses, you start to put more towards the rear. You don't necessarily want too much up in the front. Here at this track, I like to put as much as I can. I normally go about 62, 63 up front. It's a comfortability thing. Too little, you're very loose. It's kind of stabby, puts it towards the rear. It makes the back end kick. If you're tight, you do want to bring that thing back just a little bit and say, okay, loosen me up a little bit. If you're really, really loose, you'll try to tighten it up a little bit in the corners on the brakes. So it's going to be fun to watch. I like a little bit more in the front here at Martinsville in particular, especially in the trucks. The Xfinity, I try to keep it around 58, 59 and a half to kind of help me. I feel comfortable. It's a comfortability thing. The drivers that are about to go race in the Xfinity series at Indianapolis Road Course, that is going to be a challenge because they're going to have to adjust per lap. Because, it's such a long lap there at Indy that you're just continuously in a revolving door of, hey, I got to get into 1. It's a fast corner. I got to get, through the small little kink that's back there between going into 1, going into 2, hitting 3. That's going to be a challenge to make sure you hit it on point. And as the tires start to wear, you change it to how you see fit.
Yeah, and as you said, in the trucks, that's really the only thing you can fix in the fixed series, and you can swing at it pretty far. I'm trying to recall in my head, but I think you can go up to like 70% front. And pretty far to the back. I forget what the numbers are, but you can swing pretty big at it. But yeah, so the thing to remember, it does make you looser or tighter, but only when touching the brake. But man, it can make a whole world of difference there on how that truck behaves. So we're going to line them up again here. And,
it's really an all you plant the truck. So the exit of the corner. The exit of the corner is you, right? And that's something that I had to learn from the Whataback drivers is the entry of the corner is if you're setting yourself up properly, if you're over driving it, you're just going to burn the right front. If you're driving it right, you'll be able to plant the car or the truck. At the exit is all about you stabbing the throttle. If you stab it too quick, you're going to have a bad night. But if you catch it and roll it properly, you're good. We'll see who can stab it and roll it a whole lot better as green flag number 3 waves in the air. McGarvey still holds the lead. Now Palumbo is going to go to the inside of Brett Adams there for second.
Nice set of 2 wide racing all through the field that we can see here. Man, I'm really surprised, Terry, how far some of these drivers are off the wall in that high lane. Like, you need to be up there a little bit more, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of drivers
scared the wall.
Well, I feel like Dalton Geyer. We just had him at the 365. I feel like that's the closest. I mean, we've only had, 2 green flag laps? He's in the wall now. He scraped it a little bit up here on the outside. But he's getting beat on the bottom. he's getting beat quite a ton. He got beat right there by Austin Hunter. He got beat by Cody Atkins there, and he's allowing Timothy Emmanuel to get in there and potentially make a run at him. And I like what you talked about with getting two to three green flag laps that really would start to spread us out just a little bit. Looseness is going to be a big key in this race, and you might see a lot of these drivers, if we stayed green to the end, it's still projecting 106 laps. Like, that's how quick these laps are. It's 22 seconds. 22 and a half-ish that we have here. We'll see if we can keep this ball rolling. As you see side by side a little further on back in the field, there's that's the 85 of Goff.
Yeah, you don't want to be that down low, I don't think, only because you have to lift so much to make that tightness of that corner work. But man, when you get down there though, it's not by choice sometimes. You get down there and then it's just like a, I don't know, like I don't have an analogy right now. It's like when you open the door to a restaurant and like 400 people walk through because you open the door for them somehow. That's what it can feel like when you're on the bottom lane here at a track like this. Sometimes you just can't find your way back up.
You see how loose that Oliver got down there on the bottom. It's he had the 109. That's Stephen Kirby to his outside. It really did not play dividends for him to move from the bottom. He couldn't get to the outside. He only fall back one. Baron Hilton's still there. Take a look at the 0-3. That's Ryan Traver, and he's fighting with Richard Pruitt, who both started further on in the back, you know, different from where they normally would have started. Now we go back up to our race lead, and that's Kevin McGarvey. He's holding this lead. Brett Adams, Hayden Palumbo trying to reel him in, but it's starting to stretch. It's almost 8 seconds.
Yep, this is what we talked about. If we can get a couple laps in here, this will start to stretch out a little bit, and then you'll see some guys who are going to start digging for lanes. There'll be less ability to make contact because of how stretched out you are. And now it sort of throws that one comment out the window about do we pit? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're watching Thomas Brindle here, if this thing goes under 10 laps or so, or more before the next yellow, there'll be some guys who really ponder tires in the back half of this field.
We should rock, paper, scissors on if anybody pits, if we get a caution flag or not. But we're 24 laps technically into this race. You know, I believe at this very moment that we are going to hit the time, regardless of what we want to do. Laps is a possibility, but we'd have to stay green. If we get 2 or 3 more cautions, we're most certainly going to hit the time. Car around Austin Hunter backwards into the wall. He's off the racing service.
Yeah, that'll stay green. Now watch his rejoin here. As long as he rejoins safely. Yep, that's good. Here's how bad that damage is. We'll watch him probably one time by and see if he decides to bring it in and fix anything. But so far, that's not the case.
I wonder what sent him around. If he got sent around or if he just lost it on his own. But let's find out together. Looks like he lost it on his own.
Lost it up.
Saved it, lost it. That is a good, respectful thing, though, is the fact that he got back on the racetrack, didn't stop, kept it pretty clean right there. Just take a look here at the battle for 7th. That's Cody Atkins trying to put the fight on Alan Dice. They're fighting for a championship at the end of this season. It had a little bit of a further gap than what we expected it to be, but it's still an opportunity for all of those drivers inside the top 5 to still win the Season 3 championship and put themselves in the Tournament of Champions. That'll be Season 4 to wrap up the PRL season for the year. That ends a little bit right before Thanksgiving here. As you take a look at this fight going on back here with Pruitt, you got Traver, Stacy Hunter, all in this fight. This is 16th on back that are right on top of each other.
Now, if you're the 03 here, what you want to do is you want to get a small run, maybe outbreak your competitors into the corner and then start to drift up here into the line. I don't see how you hold that bottom line and make it work here because you're going to carry so much speed off of the corner. Here's Zhao. Oh, contact. Hello. That's going to put Austin in the wall. And that's a great job by Austin, all kidding aside right there, who kept it in the wall and waited until it was safe to come back down. Because at a track like this, when you come off the wall, for some reason, it is super easy to get off that wall and just kind of come back across the track with little effort.
Oh, Richard Pruitt, hang on to it.
That's a nice save.
It's not often you get loose here at IRP and you're able to not hit that inside wall, but I like the analogy that's in the chat right here. The clowns in a Volkswagen, because that feels right about this racetrack. And you rip 25, 26, 27 trucks around here. It's really like packing sardines.
It really is. My first memories of this track, when I saw it on TV for the first time, was with the what's now the Xfinity series, and there were so many entries they just had them lined up like sideways on the track so that they could get them all lined up, in a formation. That's how they pulled off the quote-unquote grid. They didn't put them on pit roads. So this is what 0.6 miles of a track. It's pretty close together. This is your battle for second and third. This is Brett Adams and Hayden Palumbo right here, Terry.
Yeah, Palumbo and Adams are starting to catch into McGarvey, but now it is stretched back out with these two racing. Here comes the Hayden to the bottom. He'll slide up the racetrack just a little bit. Brett's going to get the outside run, but just drag racing down into 3. These drivers trying everything they can do as Brett touches the wall just a little bit. That's going to let the 25 of Adams, or Palumbo, it's going to let him gain just a little bit more of a run there. He'll have it by 3/4 of a truck length. He's going to try to slide up here like you talked about. He's got the spot. New driver in second. That was perfect. That's everything you talked about from lap 1 on to now. And heck, we've ripped out a good bit of laps.
We have ripped out a good bit of laps here, but that's what you got to do. You got to outbrake him a little bit. You got to be willing to push it a little bit, and then slide in front and instantly get up there and block it. That's exactly what the 25 needed to do. Good job there for Hayden Palumbo.
You see your race leader, Kevin McGarvey. He's starting to catch in on some lap traffic. That's
we have a caution.
12. Oh, never mind. Caution's out, and that is Stacy Hunter for riding Shotgun Outlaws, and that's exactly what Austin Hunter wanted to see. So the Hunter that spun first, not the brother, and well, you talked about it a little while ago, Derek, and we went about 20-ish laps there. You petting? Depends
where I am. If I'm okay, let's talk about that after we get to our onboard here. Let's see what happens with this onboard here. This will be from Stephen Kirby's point of view. Oh, he booped him. He just booped him in the back end and sent him around. That's what happened to him.
Well, a lot of people pitted. 6th on back on the pit lane. Your top 5 did not, and Karakov missed his pit box.
I would have said 14th on back was my threshold. 6 is a big number. I don't know. If I was in the top 10, you'd have had to have really convinced me it was a good idea. But yeah, I'm surprised. I thought halfway would be the marker. So wow.
You see what Alan Dice just did right there? He wanted to start 10th. He wanted to start on that outside row, and he just brake checked Steve right there to make Karakov beat him off the pit road there. That was smart. That's what they used to do back at where was it? Indy. They used to do it at Michigan too, where they wanted to start on the outside lane before the choose cone, and you just brake check people on pit lane because you didn't want to start in a certain row.
Yeah, and of course that's different in real life now with the choose cone being in effect, but of course that's not a feature here in iRacing as of this moment. So we're about halfway through this race. I guess I'm not as surprised. I'm going back and forth. Man, watch this here. This is what you talked about. They're past the cone right there, so.
Yeah, you see, this is going to be fun because the top 5 stayed on the racetrack. Cody Atkins, Sullivan, Adams, Palumbo, McGarvey, all on 39-lap old tires. And then you got Barron Hilton, who has pitted once. He is on 26-lap old tires. CM Pennington, he's on 35-lap old tires. And Colton Easterday, who was involved in the second-to-last caution, he's on 26-lap old tires. So differing strategies in the top now. You would say the top 8. So that's going to move everybody a little bit further down the line here, but we'll see if Hayden Palumbo has anything for the 77 of Kevin McGarvey. Time is starting to be a factor. We are halfway on time. We're right under 20 minutes, just coming to 19:45 here. So be very shocked to see a lot of drivers not get aggressive. Green flags back in the air. That was a really aggressive restart right there from the 77. As he was hard on the throttle. He didn't let anybody even remotely give an opportunity at him. And here's the fight for fresh tires versus no tires.
Well, and the interesting thing about that was that Hayden Palumbo was right up there on him on the start, and I thought, oh, we're gonna have a challenge, like a really, good. Hold on,
Dalton
Geyer by himself down there. I think it was by himself. We'll wait and see. I was gonna say we saw Palumbo right up there on him on the leader for their start. I thought we were gonna have a nice battle going into one, and then Palumbo just got caught sleeping, I think.
And that's just old or cold tires that went around right there. A lot of charge. You got to put some heat in them here under the pace laps, and it's like he just put too much brake in, and around he goes, and didn't hit nothing, but he definitely put heat in them now.
I'm going to propose a theory to you that may be true, and we're not going to know from our position in the booth here. May have forgot to reset his brake bias.
Potentially.
That's the one thing about brake bias that I think we didn't hit on earlier, is you change it as the laps count on. But you need to reset it back to a more reasonable number when you put new tires in the car. And it's an easy thing to forget. It's no different than a weight jacker in the Silver Crowns or in Delaras. But yeah, so let's take a look. This is on board with Robert Goff here. This is right behind. That's Dalton Guy right in front of us. And he just lost it all of a sudden. But yeah, the brake bias, well, I guess it doesn't act as a weight jacker only because the brake bias is only under braking. A weight jacker just sort of affects the car. But even a weight jacker is the comparison I was trying to make, is you have to reset those when you pit and put new tires in the car.
Yeah, because once you get older tires, the brake bias yourself, your braking point changes, your throttle point changes, a lot of stuff begins to break down that you have to account for, which is why it's important for a lot of drivers to do long runs, not just go out and put heater laps down, because you're going to get 10 or 15 laps in the run and be like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. But I think, in all actuality, that Kevin McGarvey made the best move. Because you can't trust that you're going to get green flag runs here. You had that little spurt, but you can't trust that those fresh tires are going to be able to play dividends if we go green flag 2 laps, caution for 3.
Well,
you're burning a lot of time.
So this is where we both agree and disagree at the same time. I think McGarvey made the right move, but I think what McGarvey needs here is just to stay green and go for a while. Every time we restart, people like Karakov and Alan Dice get to show up those new tires for a corner or two and dig under some people and make up space here. If this thing stays green, traffic will take care of that problem by itself, I think. But if we keep restarting, I think Karakov and Alan Dice and the others are going to find their way forward.
We'll find out. I believe the pace car lights are off.
Basically, I just said you're wrong for those watching at home.
I like it. I'm a big fan.
Pace car lights are off here, so remember, as far as I can tell on the board, Karakov and Alan Dice are, there you go, right there. Thank you, Dustin Ollis, for putting that number up. Our freshest tires on the grid here. That's 8th and 9th.
We'll go on board right here, and this is with Robert Goff. Got him on Zoom. We got our Zoom cameras back. So for the Xfinity drivers watching, fire up the old Zoom tube, and let's see your beautiful faces here on our awesome RaceSpotTV. Pace cars down and in, green flags back in the air. We'll see what the young man can do back here in 14th place.
And right there, that CBC just to the left of the tires there in the truck in front of him. To me, that's as low as you want to get on this racetrack. You don't want to dig into that bottom groove. Hold on. There's already a caution out. We're going to wait and find it here. I don't see it yet either. Oh, there it is.
Stephen Kirby.
Had the pleasure of racing with Steven earlier and did pretty well in the C-Fix. So
I was about to say, I think he learned from you.
that's, I finished 4th. Leave me alone.
I'm shocked.
I was too. Don't get me wrong. I am not a short track guy. So when I finished 4th, I was like, wow, these guys really gave me a gift. Thank you so much.
I'm surprised you wasn't running C Open with the fabulous setups from McConey Setup Shop.
Yeah, I didn't have time for that.
You didn't have time to put yourself in the winner circle?
Only one of us here does prep work for this broadcast, and his name isn't Terry Radford. So I didn't have time to do C Open on the Wednesday. But let's go back and watch the replay here.
Oh, he got sent. I do prep work for these shows.
Who provides the notebook?
Who has his own notebook?
You don't share with anybody.
Because you already do it.
Right, whatever.
Why would I do it?
Goodness.
I race practice sessions with EPI on Sundays when I get an opportunity to. And you see right here,
see this right again.
It's like the 85 Oliver just missed the corner, and then he gets. It's one for your trouble.
And all kidding aside, we're busting chops here, but all kidding aside, that's the hard part of short track racing, and the dangerous part, if you're Alan Dice or anyone in the points lead, is that truck comes spinning backwards. And at a track like this, there's nothing to do about it. Let's watch it one more time here. Got sent by the 05, and then there, just no time to avoid him. You can kill a motor or damage a truck pretty heavily there when that truck comes spinning back to you here.
It's something you talked about. Something you actually talked about last week that I thought was really interesting was the way the trucks spin and how they come up at some tracks and they go down at some tracks.
This is an up track.
This is an up track, so we'll put this in the ticker mark. See, that's the prep work that I do. I have a memory to go back in time for you. It's okay. We'll guide along here with the Maestro ones, but this is one of those tracks with it being kind of flatter. It's like a New Hampshire but smaller, to where you actively have to. You don't want to sit in the throttle. You have to hold the brake as much as possible. If you over throttle this, it goes back to the wall really, really quick because the rear tires are just spinning in a rear motion, trying to keep you somewhat in the racetrack. But you see the tire degradation on the side, 51 laps for your top 5. They have not moved. Granted, we have only put 1 and maybe 3/4 laps under the green flag condition since the pit stops have ensued. We've come down to 12 minutes to go. That could equal out 15 laps. It could equal out 5. It could equal out 25. We don't know. It just depends on if we can keep it under the green flag. We'll take the green flag with about 11:10-ish to go. And Derek, do you think this is Kevin McGarvey's race to win?
I think it's someone in the top 4 because of the nature of what we're doing in racing. But man, Karakov, no, they the same shot, 8th and 9th. I was gonna look and see a second ago, but we'll wait and see here. I'm curious what happens. They're gonna try this restart again. Hopefully we'll get it green here.
We'll find out if we can keep it clean and green when we take this green flag. This is number 5 for Barney, and green flag's back in the air. McGarvey gets a really good jump, and Brett Adams tried to stay with him, but Hayden Palumbo's going to keep P2. We'll take a look right here at Cody Atkins passing Baron Hilton. That holds him in the top 5 spot, and it's single file all the way till we get back to around, well, now 3rd, as there goes Dallas Sullivan to the outside.
And I want to talk real quick about this whole starting.
Oh, they're wrecking. And they're all wrecking.
This will be the big one. Yeah, this will be the big one here. This will affect a lot of spots. I see the 1 car. I see Colton Easterday.
They were in the top 10.
Yeah. I think I saw a couple others involved as well, if I recall right.
Yeah, Brett Adams. Brett Adams was wrecking up front. Cody Atkins was in it. Sullivan was in it. There was a lot of things in one frame where you saw Hilton and Easterday spinning for the 2nd time here this afternoon, and then you saw Brett Adams. He was sideways and beating and banging with other people around him. So a lot of action here at this racetrack. As there's this.
Well, that's up to 3 and 4.
Yeah.
One spun by himself. I think Easter Day might have got help, or he spun by himself. I can't tell.
And then if you saw up front, Adams was turned across the nose of the 46 of Dallas Sullivan. And everybody started stacking into that. So here's this one with Easter Day. Oh,
he's leaned up on the door of someone, but I think I don't know.
The one spun on his own. It was 3 wrecks in one, and all of them could have been a caution.
Yeah. And honestly, all of them could have been much worse than they were, for the record, as well. Like, that really could have been a humongous pileup had people not been paying attention. So a big attaboy to the rest of the field. Now, I'm going to come back to a topic I had a second ago as we're watching the lucky dog come on by here. About starting on the outside, starting P2 on a restart. I have an opinion that you and I have never discussed privately. Starting P2 on an oval restart is the hardest, as we're watching it again here, is the hardest darn thing to do in iRacing. And even in triple monitors, I think it's because you can't really see the guy inside. Now with the new restart rules, it's very strict speed limits. I'd rather start P3 than P2. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'll let you go.
You said you would rather start in P2?
In P3 than P2.
On P3? Yeah, I mean, I'd rather start in third. I agree with you on that one. If I'm sitting P3, you know you have an opportunity to make the dive bomb to take the lead. If you start in second, you don't have the opportunity to know when the leader's going.
It's
They're
also
always
easier
gonna
to
get the
see the
jump.
leader.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you're assisting the leader.
Right.
I mean, we're getting people at Michigan last week. You know, you'd much rather want to start third or fifth because you have the opportunity at that moment to give the push for somebody to get the win. I mean, I was just no feast, all famine. I could be in the top 3 all race long at Michigan and still get wrecked.
I'm gonna put our producer Dustin Allis on the spot here. He loves when I do this. For this restart, can we go side by side in cameras, and can we do our main race feed that we wanted everyone to see, and then our second box, can we ride on board with Hayden Palumbo and watch how hard that restart is? I'm gonna put him on the spot here. I'll get yelled at later, and that's okay. But I want people to see how hard this truly is to do, to time this restart and to get lined up correctly. It's not that easy. Of course, I've not been told no. I've not been told yes yet, so I might just be talking to myself. We'll wait and find out.
Hey,
there we go. Ask and ye shall receive.
But then also think about it. So if he's running single monitor, if he's running triple monitor, he's honestly having to look. Yeah, but he's still having to look and go, all right, can I still see the front bumper of the race leader? He's got a little bit of a fender with Kevin McGarvey here. You take a look, you see him even better now. He has just a little bit of a better view right there. And then he has to time this, and he's trying to jump
and worry about that speed limit.
Yeah, and worry, and he's gone. I mean, he was late to the gas there, but he almost cleared for second again.
That might be the best restart he's had in a while on the outside, though.
We put him on the spot.
Performs under pressure, apparently.
He sailed that thing in there. That was a decent sin there. As he got right up to the back bumper of Kevin McGarvey. Got 6 minutes to go and cautions out.
This will be probably our last caution we can do, I would think. We'll wait and find out. I think I heard it's filled up Beaver is what I heard in my head. I'm not sure if that's accurate. We'll wait and find out. Wait and see what happened here. But this, I think, on time. I haven't timed our laps yet, but I think this would be the last one. The next one would probably come close to ending the race, I would think. Let's watch the replay here.
Oh, he just
lost it on zone. I'm not sure what's causing this here. This is the biggest difference I'm seeing between this race and what I did in the officials earlier. I don't recall seeing that many drivers. Are people just more aggressive? The track temps could be different. I didn't stare at the track temps for fixed, but I don't know, man. I'm super confused.
79-degree track temp, not necessarily the loosest, but A lot of drivers losing it off the
I think
exit
just a lot of
corners here.
aggression is what we're seeing. So if we could run through the field real quick. We talked about a couple people that we're going to ride on board here. Hold on. So this is Richard Pruitt. Yep, just lost it on his own. Well, I'll talk about a couple drivers. If we can move up to P5, Cody Atkins. He and I talked before the race, and his quote to me was, "You need a solid Q run here, and preferably that one ends with an even number because this is a high line racetrack." Well, Cody, of course, is fighting in that points battle, and as of right now, starting P5 on this restart, so not an even number for him. And we talked to Steve Loving, who is currently back at P7. Said the track is super slick. He anticipated a lot of overdriving and cautions. So far he has those two things right. He's doing pretty good there. Passing is tough, so qualifying is key. Hopefully he can qualify top 5, and it has to drive from his mirrors. That's something we've not talked about yet, but some guys are spending more time driving in their mirrors, I think, than driving through the windshield.
Yeah, that's the opportunity that a lot of these drivers are hoping doesn't continue here, as we are coming down to the final few minutes. I mean, we'll be about 3:30-ish when they cross the line there. Pace lights are still on. We have at least 2 more laps to go. It's about a 48-second go around. We'll probably have 5-ish laps to go when we do take the green flag. And you're right, if the next caution ends at we get one more caution, it's about 3.5, 4 minutes, and this race would be over.
And sadly, this is now where you have to pick up the aggression, right? We want them to be patient, we want them to stay green, but now you have to pick up the aggression. If you're an Alan Dice who's trying to hold on to your points lead, if you're a Cody Atkins or a Brett Adams who wants to help, decrease that points lead, in your head you know this is the last restart. So what's your incentive to be patient here? There isn't one.
I expect to see a lot of sins here in this final restart of the night.
I want to say real quick, this is a race of endurance, although it doesn't feel like, not because of the time. There is no time to stop and think on this track. I meant to say it earlier and I forgot. These straightaways are so short under green that there's no breathing time here either. Try it if you're watching and just try to time how long the straightaways are. It's pretty short.
Yeah, very short times that we're going to have here for this restart. Whataback's own Kevin McGarvey has the race lead. He's in the restart zone. Green flags back in the air. This is the final green flag of the night. So we'll see if he can hold on. If the caution flag does not come back out, they make it down to the back straightaway. We'll see, can we keep it there with 1:50 to go?
And we saw CM Pennington in the background there trying to dig into that bottom corner, that yellow and blue machine back there. Brett Adams super loose. Oh my God, Terry.
Adams held on to it there, and that was a miracle that he did. And look who's right behind him. That's Alan Dice. That's your points leader coming into this race. And Karakoff was there. Alan Dice.
Not clear, driver.
Yeah, not clear. Alan Dice almost made a massive mistake and almost had the bad end of the stick there. And luckily for him, he saved it. Green flag run here. We're on lap 69, and we're still green. We'll have about 2 to 3 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line here. 50 seconds left. You see trying to cause the caution back there in the back with the Pruitt him. Everybody's trying to wreck, but they ain't done it yet.
Right now, the top 3 seem pretty solid. Hold on, there's a slow truck. Everyone doing a great job of avoiding. That's a 79. I was going to say, right now the top 3 seem kind of solid, although Alan Dice is making moves, but McGarvey, Palumbo, and Sullivan seem pretty solid in those 3 spots, I think. The
top 3 pulled away. I mean, about 4 4 to 8 tenths of a second separates Atkins and Sullivan here. The battle for the race lead, on the other hand, Kevin McGarvey and Hayden Palumbo, as the white flag is going to be in the air. It's the final lap. Timer's over. It's a race to the line. It's a sin moment here for Hayden Palumbo. He's not going to get it. Kevin McGarvey off of turn 4. He wins at IRP, and he didn't look back. Once he got the race lead, he was good. And, well, the 79 of Adam Shane, he had to look back because, well, he was backwards across the line.
Well, there you go. There's the first half of our Indy doubleheader this evening, Terry. That's an exciting. That was a good race. There's some yellows, and I think that's not a surprise to anyone. There were some yellows. We had some good racing in there, some good battles, some good side-by-side battles here at a track that's sometimes known for single groove.
Yeah, this was an interesting race. As Kevin McGarvey almost gets clobbered there on that one. But that's a good win for the Waterback driver out of New Jersey, getting it done here this afternoon, and that puts McGarvey just a little bit closer as Alan Dice finished 6th. So there was some points gained, most laps led. You see your top 10 right there on the screen. McGarvey had the fastest lap, so that's huge. That's going to get him an extra point. He gets the race win. Palumbo 2nd, Sullivan, Atkins, Adams your top 5. Dice, Emmanuel, Karikoff, Loving, and Robert Goff your top 10.
Move back into 11th with Garrett Austin, with Thomas Brindle behind, with CM Pennington up in 13th. Oliver Goff in 14th, with Adam Schoen right behind the car, backwards at the line. Then Richard Pruitt, Barron Hilton, Ryan Traver, Zach Panzarella, and Dalton Geyer round out your top 20.
We take a look back here, rounding out the field. Colton Easterday had a win on iRacing earlier this week, could not get it done here this afternoon. Stephen Kirby, Tom Macy, Stacy Hunter, Philip Beaver, Zachary Austin, and then your used car lot with Austin Hunter and Alex Hillman, who never took the green flag here this afternoon. We'll catch up with our race winner right here. It's Kevin McGarvey getting ready to come as soon as I, managed to grab the right button. Kevin McGarvey, congrats on the win, man. That was it was an interesting race to say the least. Did you think track position was going to be the big factor?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I knew that I needed to qualify well and just try to stay up front, and it just happened to play out that way. But hey, I'll take it.
But we go to a road course next week with Watkins Glen, and you haven't necessarily been the road course ace. Do you put extra practice time coming off of this win to give you some momentum to go there and run well, or do you just say, hey, look, I'm good, I'll just show up and run the laps?
Well, I think of all the road courses on iRacing, I think I have the most time on Watkins Glen. So, I kind of just show up. I log on around 6:30, 7 o'clock, run practice, and get at it. And that's probably what I'll do again next week, maybe a little earlier, just to get a little more feel. It's been a while since I ran a truck there. But, yeah, no, probably nothing special. Just trying to do what I do.
Silly question time. I have my personal preference. Do you like pancakes or waffles?
I'm more of a pancake guy myself. We have a lot of good diners near where I live, and not only do they have good base pancakes, you could get the chocolate chip pancake, strawberries on them, whipped cream. You can really be a big old fat boy with pancakes, and I love pancakes.
I liked you, and I enjoyed this interview until then. That's Kevin McGarvey. Congratulations on your win here this afternoon. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
All right, we'll look back here to our P2. It's Hayden Palumbo, and he's going to stand by here with Derek Watson.
Hayden Palumbo, good job tonight. P2 at this race here at IRP, Lucas Oil, whatever you want to call it. You didn't qualify first or second. You qualified 4th. So how worried were you about this race when you had your P4 qualifying run?
Honestly, I wasn't too worried. I knew that I was faster, just looking at practice and running around the guys that were in front of me. Knew that I could have a faster green flag run if one came, and it did.
So right around the halfway mark of the race, the 20-minute mark, there's this caution that comes out, and Terry and I were debating who pits, who doesn't pit. You were one of the non-pitters. After you saw how many did pit, though, Did you think maybe you made a mistake?
I mean, I kind of questioned it for a little bit, but cautions breed caution. So I was kind of stick it out and hope for the best. I mean, I think Karikoff and Steve Loving were, I think, the first guys on fresh tires, but there was 5 or 6 trucks between us, so I knew it would be difficult for them to get to me. It's a pretty hard place to pass. So
Fair enough. Well, Terry and I are trying to start this new tradition of silly questions during post-race interviews. So we're going to ask you now, put you on the spot: pancakes or waffles?
waffles.
Thank God.
There you go. That's a good choice. Now, side question before I let you go: what do you put on your waffle?
I'm just a syrup guy.
No butter, no peanut butter, nothing.
Nope, just straight syrup, maybe a splash of butter, but it's got to be the the little plastic waffle home cups, where you stab it with a fork and make it like a self-squeeze butter, and then with the syrup.
We got way too detailed on this
really
waffle
did.
question.
We really did. Sorry about that.
You just made me hungry on the waffles here.
Well, before that, you go tonight. Good job. Anyone you want to say hello to or want to thank on the way out?
Just all the folks watching and the Team CPR guys. We've been putting practice in, so hopefully we'll get some good practice for the Glen and hopefully show up and show out.
Yeah, hopefully so. Well, listen, good job tonight. Congrats, and try some peanut butter nut waffle next time, okay?
Won't do. I'm allergic. Peace out.
Oh, all right, never mind.
You're gonna kill my man.
All right, have a good night, Hayden. All right, that's Hayden Palumbo. He finished P2, and now I believe Terry's going to catch up with Dallas Sullivan.
Hey, Dallas, what's going on, man? Congrats on P3.
Hey, long time no talk, guys. How y'all doing?
Yeah, been a while. Well, we're looking at the replay right here where Brett Adams almost plows it into you there into the corner. Did your eyes light up thinking, man, this is over? My race is done?
I was like, man, we survived this long. We had a little contact in a couple laps before, just meet in the middle, kind of exiting turn 4, and it didn't turn either one of us around. Luckily, I saw there was somebody else spinning behind us. And then, we kind of battled back and forth. He had a little bit more, he's timing those restarts a little bit better than me, but outside was so good. And when I saw him send it in there and start spinning, I was like, oh man. And I just ran my line and hoped I could get around him and, hope he didn't wash up into the wall, and luckily made it through. Just a little bit of contact. So net code was nice to me there.
I don't know what that is.
It happens from time to time.
I've never heard of it. But you're going to go to Watkins Glen next week. Super fun racetrack to go to. What's your chances, do you think, of winning there?
It's none. I'm unfortunately not going to be here next week. Yeah.
Oh, no, Dallas.
I'm going to have to take a drop week next week. So bummed about that because I enjoy the road courses. Had a good run at Mid-Ohio earlier with Nick beating me out. But yeah, gonna miss it. So,
well, we're gonna miss you, and congrats on your P3. Quick question though: pancakes or waffles?
Waffles. Had some waffles last weekend that were pretty stout. So,
that's 2-1
right now.
We appreciate you for settling the debate. It's 2-1 waffles.
What were on these stout waffles?
Yeah, what's on them?
They're just maple syrup and butter.
Okay, so we're 2-1 there on that one, but congratulations, Dallas. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the Milwaukee Mile.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a nice night.
You too, sir. That's your top 3, and we'll transition our waffle coverage to a track that's going to tie a lot of people into knots, because we go to the NASCAR Xfinity Series from the Indianapolis road course, and I believe this is year 3 for this layout being a part of the NASCAR Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. So it's going to be very interesting to see if potentially we get back to the oval side of things, maybe 2023, getting an oval race as Goodyear has done a tire test there. Qualifying is underway. Some drivers are on their warm-up lap. We didn't miss anything qualifying wise there. Doesn't seem to be a lot going on as you take a look at our schedule here this afternoon. Obviously, this is the 9th of August. We are at Indianapolis. We go to Watkins Glen, and then we go to Daytona for the season finale. So the trucks will go to Milwaukee, Daytona on August 23rd for the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the PRL, and Derek, the individual points over here looks a little bit different than the truck.
It really does, actually. So Richard Regan has a lead here, does a minor lead over Abner Acosta. And then you're going to go back a little bit to Bradley Holly, Elliott White back there, and then Ted Lowendick, Adam Zemke, Thomas Sink, Joey Tebben, Jeff Evans, and Nick McLaughlin round out your top 10. As we look at the team points here for a moment, this is where it gets more interesting to me. Precision Racing Esports has that lead, Terry, but Atomic Racing TNT made up some ground last week. And you got Regan Bogue, the 3 Whataback teams, Overdrive, back row, front row, pardon me. And then Car Ramrod, SGE Esports, Bull Creek Racing North, and then Regan Bogue Developmental back there in the P10. Now, I want to see if I can help you out a little bit here as we transition out of points. Can I try a new transition for you that might have worked better to move over to Indy?
Go for it.
All right, so while waffles were definitely the popular choice, now we're going to move to a track where you might see a couple guys pancake the wall as the night goes on. That would have been your transition.
It would have been a good transition. And it's a good transition to that. Coming to this guy, who last week all of the drivers said that Abner Acosta would be the one that we would be chasing. But I beg to differ. I will argue the point that you talked about the team points with Atomic TNT with McLaughlin, Tebben, Lowendick. Well, guess who currently sits 1, 2, 3 in qualifying? Oh yeah, it would be the drivers who race road racing quite a bit. It would be McLaughlin, Tebben, Lowendick, and then you have your Precision Racing Esports drivers with Abner Acosta and Elliott White sitting 4th and 5th. But you see these corners here. He's on his second hot lap. He was about a 10th off of where Ted was at. So he was 1/10 off interval-wise. He was about 7/10 off of Nick McLaughlin, who is a really established road racer. And here he comes to the line. We'll see where this slots Abner here on this lap. I don't think he liked what he had. Went to second.
Yeah, good job there. Now we're going to look here onto the sub 68. Here appears to be the car we're going to follow along here. So as you said, this is Mike Knight. This is the 3rd year of this course being run in real life. My memory tells me this is the 2nd year this layout has existed in iRacing.
Yeah.
The first year that NASCAR came back here, we did not have the current layout. This track has changed 3 times since its inception. I think when you say Indy Road Course, Terry, most people remember the whole Juan Pablo Montoya, Jeff Gordon car swap. That was in the original configuration of the track. It was a little bit longer, but had 1 less corner in it.
We'll see what Jeff Evans can do here. The number 51, different paint scheme for the Miracle Flow entry. I believe he's done, so he's just out here turning some laps. Mike Knight still trying to get up to speed, get around this course to put his time on the board. And there's going to be a massive separation here this afternoon between the fast drivers, the medium drivers, and then the drivers who do not like road racing at all. Us. I think we're talking about us.
Yeah.
Don't like road racing. I agree. Oh, Mike Knight. Good save.
Wow.
I don't know. Road racing to me, I don't mean any disrespect to people who like road racing. I really don't. I just don't get it. I like watching it, but driving it is it's a challenge that I am too dumb to figure out.
So let me put a thought in your head, and let me put this out there and see what you think of it. The reason a lot of oval drivers don't like road racing is because the car we drive on the road course is awful at road course racing. If you go into iRacing and grab yourself a GR86 as a simpler car, or an MX-5, go grab an LMB2 with all that downforce, or even a GTE that is meant to road race, it is so much more fun. We hate road course racing because this car is like a bathtub full of water you're trying to navigate around a stinking road course. It's awful compared to actual road racing.
I will say I drove the GR86 at Road America, and I felt comfortable because I know the layout. I know Road America. Like I know that racetrack. I wouldn't have been comfortable going and jumping in Spa, right? Like I don't think that would have been smart for me to do. It wouldn't be smart for me to go jump on and do the Indianapolis road course either. Just like Brett Karakoff here, who missed the corner. That would be me in this car right about now. I believe most of my incident points last season came from actually came from Coda.
Yep, that's valid thought. So, by the way, this is Jeff Evans. I want to say I had a chance to talk with Jeff earlier today, and he said he thought he was having a lot more fun here than he thought he would, and said he thinks the Xfinity car is better suited for this track and feels more comfortable than it felt at Road America. So he's having fun here. Let's see if his qualifying times reflect that. He's currently P7 on the board and is trying to put in a better lap here. Now, speaking of Road America, we'll come back around eventually and we'll talk about another driver I think we left off the list of people to watch. Bradley Holly, up there in P5, by the way.
Yeah, and for a lot of these drivers, they're just wanting a little bit extra practice. The track temp potentially could have changed from when we practiced to now. But look up and down this yeah, it's 118 degrees. So it is a very difficult racetrack, as you see Karakoff still sliding there. I will say that the one thing I learned from Abner and Jeff and Bradley Holly and a lot of other drivers who do like the road racing, if you back the corner, you're fine. And no surprise, Nick McLaughlin is your pole sitter. Abner Acosta to the outside. Those were the odds-on favorites here this afternoon. They had a hard time at the Chicago Street Course. I'm talking about Nick and Ted. They both almost killed each other. Ted Lowendick, Joey Tebbin, starts fourth. Bradley Holly, Elliott White, your top six.
Moving back to P7 will be Danny Cervantes with Jeff Evans on the outside in P8. Mark Kalin at P9 with Thomas Sink in P10. And then Reese Bogue and Daniel Knight round out your top 12.
Adam Zemke, Charles Sumner starting back there on row 7 with Nicholas Hunter, Brett Karakoff, Doug Evans, and Mike Witt, your top 18.
Moving back to 19th is Ryan D. O'Connor with Colton Lane in P20. Mike Knight and Richard Regan Jr. Regan all the way back there, by the way, in 22nd. And then Jim Musterfield and Jacob Emery, 23rd and 24th.
And your last car, Chad Kibbe, who did not set a time in the number 23, starts 25th. This ought to be fun, as I'm not sure if Richard Regan Jr. was penalized or not. I do not believe he caused a caution last week. I
just noticed he did put in a Q lap, which really struck me. Because remember, we talked with Regan, unless my memory is getting bad. I mean, I am old, let's be honest. But he said he would prefer to. Did I say he's the one who said he'd prefer to race this, or was that Abner? One of them said they'd rather race this track than the Glen. Maybe that was Abner who said that, actually. Maybe that's not Richard Regan.
I believe it was Abner. But
yeah, that's right, because Regan was like, yeah, I don't want to do road courses. You're right. I have him backwards in my head.
I think Richard was very, very honest with going, yeah, it's probably just going to be Abner for 15 seconds ahead of the field. But it's very nice and very refreshing to see the reason that a lot of these drivers who are in this field, and I don't mean to say a lot, but a good chunk of the drivers that came into this season to run a one-off season, like a Chevin, like a Lowendick, like a McLaughlin, was for the road courses. And two of them back-to-back. If one of them drivers want to get a win, they had their opportunity at the Chicago Street Course, but it was so new and so different to a lot of them. It's kind of like Shane Van Gisbergen jumping in and racing the Chicago Street Course. He's going to run here, and he might have a little bit different of a feel. He knew the street courses, but the Cup guys know this. These Xfinity guys in here who have run any other type of car have raced around this racetrack, and for the top 4 or top 5, because Bradley Holly's a very good road racer in his own right, but for a lot of these drivers, they're going to have their hands full, especially with the track temp. 118 degrees on a car that doesn't like road racing.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I don't always mix real life and sim, but I'm going to do it for a second. And you started talking about the Cup race on Sunday. There's going to be a lot of road course ringers in the Cup race on Sunday. Mike Rockenfeller's in there. I think Kobayashi is racing in there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Kobayashi, of course. I think SVG might be racing on Sunday, but Kobayashi, of course, was the IMSA teammate for Jimmy Johnson for those couple of years. He's an incredible road course driver, and the pace he has so far in practice at this course, that's going to be interesting here. It's going to be fun. Now, talk about this course in sim. Let's talk about the fact that in PRL, we do not put cautions out on road courses unless the admins feel that it is a full course blockage. Now, we avoided that in Chicago, which I thought was our most likely culprit. We came darn close in the Cup race at Chicago, but it did not happen. I think the only place it happens here is turn 1. Turn 1 is treacherous at this road course, Terry.
Turn 1 will be very fun to watch. As we're still on the formation lap here, we'll get around to take the green flag, and we'll flip them here. We'll go in car here into turn 1 with Nick McLaughlin once we get to the front stretch. Interesting note, we will go off of the restart zone in sim. I know a lot of talk and a lot of buzz went around Twitter that NASCAR moved the restart zone back right about here. And it's not where we will do the restart zone. It's right in this bend is where they put it for that one. That is not where we'll put it. We'll put it on the front stretch here.
Sorry to cut you off, and not only is it a restart zone, Terry, they can change lanes starting at that point on Saturday and Sunday. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and we see it here. Pace car is going to come down and in. The field is in the hands of Nick McLaughlin for pole number 1 of the season for the PRL Xfinity Series. Green flags in the air, and Abner Acosta beat him to the line.
That might be interesting to look at, and I suspect I'll hear in my ears in a second that admins are going to look at it, because if you can beat the leader to the line, that might leave some questions. But here's turn 1. Everyone seems to have got through it okay.
See a couple side-by-side battles here, and there's a couple places like right there you do not want to go side-by-side. You can go 2x2 down this stretch, and then you really want to single file it out. As you see Danny Cervantes here, he's going to try to outbrake on the outside to driver's right or left, and then switch back to driver's right, back to driver's left. This is the part of the run that I was telling you about a little earlier, Derek, was when you go into those quick switchback corners that you have there, you don't have the full opportunity to use all of the racetrack you want to be able to use. So you see here how they'll go all the way to the turtle, all the way out, all the way back over to set themselves up for the corner. A lot of the switchbacks don't give you that opportunity, but they'll use a ton of the corner through every single one of them. I mean, they'll almost be up against the grass as we're about to go complete lap number 1.
And that's one of the differences. I talked earlier about, the difference in driving an Xfinity car or a Cup car on road course versus a GT3 or an LMP2. One of the biggest differences, in my opinion, is how much curb can you use in moments like that. In an actual road car, like a GT3 or something like that, you can use all that curb. You get too much curb in an Xfinity car, and it's a scary moment.
Well, I mean, Kelly Clarkson did say that some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't believe this is happening to me.
I thought you were going to say, like, when it comes to racing road courses, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But
no, I like the moment like this one.
By the way, I want to say right there, that was a good reference, by the way. What happened back there in that corner? iRacing does not have those curbs that NASCAR is putting down in real life. You saw some drivers kind of hop in that curb back there. That's the corner a couple years ago that caused all that trouble with drivers hopping and hitting those curbs and destroying their cars.
That was a very interesting time, and iRacing has this scan in here. You cannot race redacted car here, but you can still run the layout with the Xfinity, the Cup. I've seen somebody put the trucks out here. I think the GR86s would be fun out here as well. would be a fun little combo for some racing. But you see your top 5 here, still within a second ish of each other. They're right there in this group. Top 2 slightly breaking away as Ted Lowendick just puts the fastest lap on lap number 2 down, and then Nick McLaughlin says, hey, I can best that. So it's a 1:32 is the fast time on the board, and Abner looks a little loose right here. This might be the time and the chance for the pole sitter or the third place driver to get up here and get it done.
It could be. I can say that right now there have been some questions about the start, the green flag with Abner, and I think the admins have said iRacing deemed it not to be a jump, so they're probably going to go with that. So that should close that book. Wow, 3 wide there. Hello, and Abner's going to let them go.
Oh, and I have the story here on Richard Regan Jr. He is not in the field. His internet took a number 2 on him. So that is what's going to end the night for Richard Regan Jr., and you would almost guarantee that the points lead is gone. Yeah. I'm not going to mention the internet because that would be in direct conflict for me. So bad internet.
Well, the quote-unquote good news, not that there is any, but the quote-unquote good news for Richard Regan is he's not had any moment yet to use his drop week yet. This will be his drop week by far. He's not really had a bad race yet this season, so this will just be his drop week. So now it's up to see how Abner Acosta, Bradley Holly, and Elliott White do, and what kind of ground they can make up here. Because they came in tonight with anywhere from 10 to 25 points back.
Couple drivers starting to take advantage of their road racing prowess. You see drivers a little further on back. There's Mark Kalin, there's Danny Cervantes, who's been gone for quite some time in this series. We haven't seen him race. I believe he's working and has a lady for a lady of the night. But he can't partake on Wednesday nights as much. So good to see him back in the series. There's Tevin. There's Cervantes getting on the back bumper of the 27 of Elliott White here. And this is a closer field than a lot of drivers told us last week, Derek, that we were going to see. They said it was going to be hey, hand the trophy to Abner Acosta. He'd be gone by 15, 20 seconds by the end of it. I think Abner's just in tire conservation mode at this moment.
That's what I was going to bring up. There was a hint. We'll talk about some more drivers throughout the night, but a lot of drivers told me tire temps are crucial here. And maybe that's what Abner's banking on, is keeping those tires cooler and making them last longer.
Expand on that one for me, because you would think with road racing that the tires would get better as the run goes on and the tires get a little slicker, but
sure, no. What that kind of means though is if you're being aggressive, if you're digging into the corners, if you're going hard here into turn number 1 and you're on the brakes really hard, you're heating up those tires. And if you're driving aggressive, you're constantly making passes, if you're constantly side by side off your line, you're heating up those tires, and that's where you have issues with tire conservation. If you're doing something smooth, you have good inputs, you can let these tires last forever. But some guys are really concerned that if you get in here locking up the corners, if you're being aggressive, that maybe you do heat up those tires and then they fade away sooner. And I think that's what the concern is.
Concerns all the way around the racetrack at the moment is tire conservation, because a lot of drivers have not necessarily gone as quick as you would imagine. They've fallen off. Everybody but the top 3 have fallen off, and Abner's pace is on par. His fastest lap of the race was his last lap. On lap number 4 was the 1:33.392. So holding it up there, and very crazy. You see from the back bumper of Nick McLaughlin here, and you have a crazy stat about Abner there, Derek.
It's not a stat. It's a story that's developing. That's going to happen post-race. You had the excellent call that Abner beats our pole sitter to the line, and I was wrong in what I said earlier. I need to go back. iRacing did assign him a black flag for beating the leader to the line. Now there are some reasons to do it. If you could prove the leader was kind of maybe toying with the pedal or maybe did something weird, but he had a talk with Race Control Live, and what they've kind of said to him was, if you think you're in the right, they'll clear it. But it was kind of hinted that if we look at it post-race and you were in the wrong, the penalty might be worse than if you just took the black flag. So this could be a developing story that could be interesting as the night goes on. And hey, maybe even good news for Richard Beacon.
Just a question, just to clarify it. I know the answer, but I want to get the answer out of you here.
Oh, good.
The black flag would be what? It would be passing under the green or passing the leader. It's a pass through, correct?
Oh, the black flag we're discussing, is going to be beating the leader to the line. In theory, for most racing on a first green flag, the leader should be starting the race. The concern would be, basically, did he jump the start? Did he just get a big jump on the leader? What is the penalty? I would believe it to be some kind of stop and hold, but I am not sure of the time it would be. But I do not believe it's just a drive-through. I can effort that if I have to, but I'm not sure on the answer. Do you know the answer to that?
Yes, it is a 40-second stop and hold.
I thought the time varied per track, so I'm not sure about that part.
Heck no. 40 seconds is what Abner Acosta would have upon him. But I do like the fact that he gave the spot back. I think that was a very key note to maybe say, listen, I gave him the damn spot back. Can I get around this? Like, I didn't keep it for good, but I was very curious on that restart, on that initial start, because I mean, he clearly beat him, and you see it right here. We'll look at the replay, and the people watching, I don't want to hear any lip about it. We're only watching this because it's a big story. Because at this point, he was going way before. That was even his teammate was well faster than him before he ever got to the zone. And you have a right to go when the green flag drops. You don't necessarily have to go. And maybe this is it's weird for us as well, because we don't know exactly when the green flag hit the air.
But what we do know is that iRacing, not an league admin, but iRacing itself assigned the black flag for jumping starts.
Yeah. Oh, Nick McLaughlin's around into one, and we talked about tough spot. Turn 1 would be the heavy hitting spot. He'll drop back to 8th. He'll have to work his way through the field. He had the same issue at the Chicago Street Course where he went around with his teammate, Ted Lowendick, there. Now he's going to have to work his way back through this field. We'll take a look right there. He just locked him up, and around he goes.
And that's in some ways the easiest spot. It's probably the highest speed section of the course, going down the front straight, the Indy front straight, the NASCAR front straight, whatever you want to call it. It's probably either the fastest or second fastest part of the track going into that corner. And of course, if you've watched the real life races, you remember in the first year we did this, there was turn 1 on that overtime was that massive pile up with Denny Hamlin and others who sparked a lot of controversy. But there you go. So we're gonna watch it going around. We'll keep an eye. We're not gonna know anything. Let's watch this one more time here. This is Abner Acosta. I'm guessing this is going to be the race start, or is this a turn 1?
This is the spin. You just see him lock him. He locked him. Okay. Front right locked up, and around he goes. He still holds the point for the fastest lap, so that's huge. This is huge for multiple reasons. The team championship is very close between Precision Racing Esports and Atomic Racing TNT, so that one extra point with a potential win, with the pole point as well, max points there for those drivers. And with Abner running 2nd and Elliott White running 6th, it would put the pendulum into the court with Lowendick, Tebben, and McLaughlin with the 3-car team outrunning currently, two outrunning one and one outrunning the other. So good points, Dake. Give them that opportunity. You see some damage there on Daniel Knight's front bumper. Don't know where he picked that up at, but multiple ways to figure that one out. As you see the curb hop there with a lot of drivers. There's Reese Bogue, there's Adam Zimke, 12th and 13th. They're fighting along. There's damage all over these cars.
I know. Looks like we're back at IRP, doesn't it?
No, it does.
So I'm going to put a bow on a story that we'll know nothing else about until the race is over and Bradley Holly and Charles Sumner and the others look at this. We're not going to know anything else about Abner's restart, or start, I should say, until the race is over. So we'll look at it one more time here. This is a nice overhead. I mean, that's an obvious jump, in my opinion.
I don't think it was from that angle. I think the green flag was out and he wasn't going.
Maybe. So they'll just look at it.
I think he had an inch or two ahead of him. That causes. Oh no, Adam Zimke almost got turned around right there by Reese. Just ran out of room. That would have been a big. That would have been a big spot there for 12th and 13th. As Karakov's starting to catch up, Sumner's in that mix as well. They still
nice
fight
side by side there. That's beautiful. But to wrap it up, we won't know anything else until the end of the race about that penalty. I will do my best to get Charles Sumner to come in and talk to us post-race and kind of, grill him and put him on the spot and see what he'll tell us, if anything. But we'll watch it. Hello. That's not the line.
Oh, he turned him.
He freaking top rope, dive bombed him. That's, wow.
By God, that killed him.
Man, Rob Van Dam, eat your heart out. 5-star frog splash right there, buddy. All right, let's see one more replay to start. We're gonna move on.
Hopefully it's from Barney the Flagman.
That would have been a good idea.
Green flag was waving. I think Abner just had an inch on him.
All right, well, we'll find out post-race. We'll let the admin sort it out. Do that. But, man, if we could get a replay now, I'll give Dustin a second to catch up here, of that turn there.
There's just so much going on there. Our producer's having to work harder than he's ever had to work.
And the funny thing was in our show prep. Hold on, let's watch this first. That's an Applebee's car. Just off the top rope. Oh my gosh. That's like a Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop right there, Terry.
Eddie Guerrero's smiling down.
Certainly is,
yeah,
buddy.
Absolutely. What a 5-star. Look at all the damage it caused too. As you look right here, old Cervantes climbs inside the top 5. He gets around Elliott White. It's a good little fight going on right here into one. You see all the flames coming out. That's a lot of brake. That's the heaviest braking zone on this racetrack, in my opinion. When you come with all that speed into turn 1, you have that really hard turn. And look who's coming down pit lane. That's Reese Bogue. That's a ton of damage. I'm sure he wants to come get that fixed as quickly as possible with 33 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. What makes me wonder is, did we just open the pit window? I would imagine in this race, everyone's got to pit for fuel. Whether or not they pit for tires, I guess, is a personal decision. I would think they would. But I was actually pondering today, and I put down on my notes somewhere that I jotted down as I was thinking about this race today. No one does the old classic NASCAR backwards math pit stop hardly anymore. No one does that whole, what's the earliest I can pit and be out of cycle with people. And I wonder if that's what Reese Bogue just did.
Be interesting to find out.
Because he doesn't have the meatball flag. He did not have required repairs. So we'll have to wait and see.
See if this fight continues on here with Cervantes and White holding it for the top 5. Drivers who have spun out early in this race have not made a whole lot of time back up. I mean, you got the 66 who hasn't climbed up out of 8th. He's still trying to chase Mark Kalin down. You see this fight for 12th with Adam Zimke and Brett Karakoff. That has started to put itself in there as Karakoff has gotten around Adam, and he didn't, jump off the rope. We'll see if he does it here. Reese stayed in pit lane for a while.
Yeah, that must be damage. You're right.
Yeah, he stayed to fix that, and that's a tough break. Missing Richard, and you already lost Reese here out of this race. Like now he's just going to be out here trying to set fast qualifying laps.
And here's the difference in the 2 racetracks tonight. I mean, obviously there's a lot of them, but here's a big one: is that at IRP or Lucas Oil, whatever you want to call it, damage sucks, but it doesn't really hurt. Like you can have a bent frame and maybe a wheel out of alignment a little bit. Oh, there's someone cutting the grass. That's going to be Daniel Knight. You can have someone a little bit out of, a wheel that's off alignment at IRP and be okay. But when you're trying to run a 14-turn road course with a wheel that's not pointed straight, it is miserable to try and do that. So you want to go get that fixed as fast as possible.
I was very curious on a certain driver in the 4. I was catching a certain 57, but the battle for the lead looks rather spicy as well, as Ted Lowendick has it. Mike Knight's off the racetrack there. There's a ton of action everywhere here.
Mike Witt has just announced that he'll be pitting this lap, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see if there's more to that.
Is it pit season already?
It sounds like it. I mean, we're 20 minutes in already, believe it or not. It's been busy. The funny thing about this, when you and I talked about this show, before we went live, you were like, man, what are we going to talk about during this race? There's been plenty to talk about in this race. There's been controversy. There's been contact. There's been good passing. I mean, we're 20 minutes in, and it hasn't felt like it.
Yeah,
man, Abner is all over this guy.
Now we got to fight for the lead, and you see how he's having to hang that thing out right there, finding a ton of speed with the rear of the car going sideways. He was able to continue there. He's not going to be able to beat him in the braking point. And I think this is a topic we didn't really touch during the street course of Chicago, was the fact that there's competition here now.
Wow, look at that front bumper.
Yeah, you see Elliott White and Daniel Cervantes back at it again, but there's competition here in the PRL for the road side of things. A lot of people used to say that this is Abner's playground. This is his wheelhouse, so that he's gonna, stink up the show. But now we've put in some more. There's some more road guys here. There's a lot of extra talent that loves to come race these cars when there's 4 or 5 road courses on the season, and it's good to see a fight for the lead, a battle here. I mean, they pulled 6 seconds on Bradley Holly. Well, and Brad's no slouch.
Let me add to that a little bit and say it's not just about the drivers. Obviously, that helps. Whoa. Elliott White, that was not... Wow, okay. Yeah, he's going to have to back it up and kind of gather himself. That was going to be the dive bomb of all dive bombs had he tried to make that move, Terry.
That would have been a very fun dive bomb, too.
Let's watch it again here, and I'll get back to my point. I mean, Danny opens the door a little bit, but no, I don't know. That was being aggressive, in my opinion, by Elliott. I was going to say, it's not just the drivers. Obviously, having Ted in here, having Joey, having Nick, the new road course drivers helps. But when you have 4 of them on a schedule, you have to actually practice it now as a driver. You can't just go, oh, that's my drop week, right? It's not like earlier in the season, if there's a COTA race or if there's a Sonoma race, or later there'll be the Roval in season 4 where you can get, this is going to be my drop week. Here, you have to actually work at 4 road courses. You have to be good at something. If you plan on having 4 drop weeks, then, there's no way you're competitive, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. We go on board here with Nick McLaughlin as Nick is currently riding in the P8 position. I kind of want to distract him a little bit because,
that's your thing.
Yeah, and what makes it even funnier is I'm pretty sure they told us that we can interrupt him as much as possible. So if we just keep him on the screen for a little bit, I think this would be super, super, super funny. You ready?
Sure.
Nick McLaughlin, it's the boys up here in the broadcast. So you spun it out already, and I see the smile on your face because y'all told us to interrupt you as much as possible.
Oh, yeah,
But,
I don't mind.
Yeah. but you're chasing down Elliott White and Mark Kalin at this very moment. What did the tires feel like after you spun out right there, and can you charge back up to the front?
I think the only thing hotter than my tires was my temper. My teammate had to cool me down a little bit and get me back on track, so got to cool them off and see if we can't get a couple positions back.
Well, pit stops, I believe, are on the horizon. What lap do you potentially think you're going to come down here?
Truth be told, I don't know if there will be pit stops. The tires may definitely need it, but I believe we'll have enough fuel to make it to the end.
Would you potentially want to pit for tires? I know y'all did it at Chicago, but would you do it here?
The problem is the pit lane here with a pit stop is going to take almost a full minute. So in order to get that time back, you're going to have to be substantially quicker than guys on the fresh tires. And I mean, we're still running 35s up here. We're not that far off. I mean, the car don't feel good, but we're only a couple seconds.
So I have two questions for you. So the first one is, can you tell me, if you don't mind saying, how much good on the gas does your crew chief say you are right now?
I don't know. Don't use crew chief.
Okay. iRacing, anything? Black box is nothing?
My calculator says I need to refuel like 2.5 liters.
Okay, so maybe.
I don't know what that is in gallons, but
That's fine.
that's not very much.
So I promised the viewers I was going to be quiet about this till the end of the race, but I'm going to ask you since you're here, what are your thoughts on the start of the race?
I started in second, and I feel like Abner started in first, and he got a way better launch than I did. And I'm just very inexperienced, and honestly, being on pole was a complete shock to me.
Do you believe he jumped the start?
I don't think he jumped it at all. I just think he knows how to launch these cars better than I do. It was pure inexperience, and he didn't account for it.
All right, well, we're going to put you back. Good luck here in figuring out that pit strategy.
Thanks, guys.
Tell Joey he's next.
I will.
Thanks, Doc. We're gonna yank Joey too.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, that was interesting. Like at first he said, "I don't think we need to pit for gas," but then he said he's 2.5 liters short. So which is it? Is he just planning on draft? If he stays in the draft, if he can get closer to Elliott White, maybe he can make up that time or that 2.5 liters. I mean.
Well, you also have to account for clutching too. You have an opportunity around this road course to be in fourth gear and clutch quite a bit. So, I mean, you have the opportunity around the 14-turn road course here to save some fuel at some point in time in this race. And there's a lot of drivers having great runs. You're not escaping trouble here. And unlike Nicholas Hunter, our admin for Sunday could not escape trouble as he went off the race course into the grass. But for a lot of drivers, you could save some fuel.
I hadn't thought about that though. This is a multi-turn road course. If you're wrong and you run out of gas in the last lap,
you're not getting back.
No, you're going from 8th to whatever. Yeah, right now that'd be 20th. This is how many cars are going to lap. Hello.
Like hello, Colt.
Sorry. I was yapping and not watching, but if he messes up that calculation, he'll go to last place on the lead lap for sure.
Well, we'll look at this battle right here, and I'm going to yank Joey. We'll see if Joey's multi-talented as well as we grab our race spot people. Joey Tebben, you're currently sitting in the P4 position, and you got about a 5-second lead on Danny Cervantes and 2 seconds, 2.5 off of Bradley Holly. How's the car feel?
It's gliding a lot. I'm trying to get on the brakes, and I know I have a 7-second gap over Danny, so all I have to do is not do anything stupid, and I got P4 on lock.
Well, a lot of controversy around the restart. Your teammate doesn't believe that Abner jumped it. Is the whole team going to go to bat right there because you were all inside the top 5 that Abner did nothing wrong there?
I mean, he jumped the start, so if Charles gives him a penalty, it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure there's been many cases in the past, but we'll see what happens.
With the level, Nick also talked about having to get him calmed down. How hard was it for you and Ted to break the tension inside that team room?
That was Ted's job, because I do not know how to deal with that, so I let Ted do all that.
How good How good does it feel to be running inside the top 5 here in an Xfinity race at Indy?
Decent. It doesn't feel good at any corner because I'm sliding everywhere, but hopefully we can survive the next 24, 25 minutes and we'll have a solid result. P4, maybe P3 if Abner gets a penalty.
So let me give you a hot take here, get your opinion on it. When I talked to Jeff Evans pre-race today, he told me, quote, "This car feels good here, and this is more fun than it was to race Road America with this car."
I mean, I don't like sliding as much as I am, and right now I'm kind of terrified because Mike Witt is breathing down my neck, but it's better than it was in the official races.
Fair enough. So Nick told us he's not sure he has to pit.
No,
Are you
we
in
don't.
that camp?
We do not have to pit. We're not going to pit.
Now, he also told us he's currently 2.5 liters short. So,
I don't know. I'll talk to Ted. He does fuel. He knows what that's all about.
okay, so what I'm hearing is Ted does the fuel mileage.
Ted's the calm voice.
Ted talks the calm voice.
Yes.
And Ted leads the race.
So
Ted
what
is the dad of the team, even
what
though
is
Nick
your-
is
what
an
is
actual
your-
dad.
What is your job here?
Drive car and sometimes crash, but hopefully not today.
Fair enough.
All right, Joey. We'll let you get back to work. We
Make sure to
appreciate
drag me
you.
back to the right channel.
We will put you back in the right channel. We appreciate you, and it's good to see you running up front. You did something I definitely couldn't do.
Hopefully I keep it up here.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we're talking to you post-race. Thanks, Joey.
Adios.
That's Joey Tevin. Now we have a battle for the P1 position, as now it's Ted Lowendick, his teammate, who apparently does everything at the race, and I did move him to the wrong one. Ha, ha, ha. Joey Tevin.
So the thought I'm having here is, I mean, you talked earlier about how people rate Abner's road skills, and for good cause. Here's some cars on pit road, by the way. This is Ryan D. O'Connor, part of Precision Racing Esports. There's missing a couple parts there. It's a nice engine. Is Abner wanting around Ted? Here's a question: If Nick thinks he's short on gas, is Abner using Ted to save gas?
No, I just think he's slower than him in parts of this track.
I don't think so.
I do. I think he's slower than him.
I think Abner's using Ted to draft and to save that gas that Nick is short on.
We'll disagree on that one. I think Ted's better in the first sector of this track, but the second sector and the third sector, Abner is faster in 2, but not in 3. I think they're about even there. You see the time delta, just see Karakov on the screen. Off track for him. He'll go back to the fight for P1. He'll the overall lead. Abner had a run there. He'll try to take a peek to the inside. Not going to be able to do it. They'll come off back to the NASCAR straight away.
Wait. How weird is it, by the way? I know we both raced this course at separate times. To run that straightaway backwards?
Oh, it's miserable. It's miserable to think. I'm not good at it going the opposite way either, but to run it going backwards takes me back to like NASCAR 05 for PlayStation, when you're just like, I'm just going to wreck the field. I don't care. You see right here, off the exit of the final corner, Ted was able to pull him all the way down the straights, and he was able to get him into turn 1. You see that gap starts to grow, goes to 5, goes through turn 2 right here.
Okay. So I get your point. I'm just saying, if Abner wanted to be more aggressive and be the Abner Acosta road course guy we know, I think he could get around Ted. But hold on, let's watch Ryan O'Connor. This is how he lost his hood. Oh, hold on.
Too much gas.
Oh, that's a wall. I just think Abner's using this advantage to save some gas. I do. Now, of course, we know that Ted, at least as the last we heard, is doing the math and thinks they don't need to pit. But I think Abner's being extra sure here and might have some gas to play with at the end of this race. We'll find out. One of us is going to be right. One of us may be wrong. This is Matthew Karakov here.
He just locked it into 1. Trouble spot again. And that was good until he hit the grass.
And man, when you hit the grass in these cars, that's... oof. It's difficult. It's not an Xfinity 10G car, Terry, but it definitely had that same purple as the Xfinity 10G logos we see all the time in this series in real life.
Yeah, it's a good partner for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series too. and the College Series. And there's Karakov again.
Hold on.
Lost it off the exit of the final corner. Turn 14 was the trouble spot. Turn 1, turn 14 for Karakov this afternoon. Hard of the wall, and I would imagine that the spotter says meatball. Yeah, sometimes you're just not as fast as Xfinity 10G.
I can tell you there's not a meatball, but I bet there's a lot of damage there to deal with.
Yeah, I'm sure his wheels like not ready to turn. He's not gonna turn well under a decent rate of speed into one. But the battle is still raging on for this win. So it is Ted Lowendick, Abner Acosta. Abner had a really bad turn 4 right there. Turn 4, turn 5. Not as well. He pulled about 4 extra tenths of a second for Ted over Abner here. And this is what you like to see in a road course race, is 2 drivers at the top of their game pulling away from third, but actually having a good race for the win and not somebody stinking the show up. Oh no, Nick goes around again, and he lost the P7 spot to Mark Kalin.
That's gonna be the second spin there for Nick. That's becoming harder to see and to think about here. Of course, these guys have pulled, as you said, a big gap on Bradley Holly. When I talked to Bradley earlier, he just said that he thought that the track was super slick. By the way, that's speaking of super slick, there you go. I mean, just lost it, no assistance, stayed on the track and just looped it around there. Nice job waiting here. Nice, safe rejoin. Good job, Nick McLaughlin. Bradley also said he thought the biggest part of tonight would be tire management. He says his goal was a top 5. Well, so far he's in that goal. He's currently 3rd.
You see the wheel right there for Abner. It going into 1, into 2, into 3 right here, and then sweeps it to 4. We stay on board with him for this lap. It'll show people right here. So you go to 5A or 6. I still think this would be the one track that you would put, A and B on it with the switchbacks.
No, you do not. No, stop that.
And then you got turn 7 right here. As you sweep it down, very high braking in there, sweeping corner here, and then you instantly switch it right back to the rumble strips just to barely get on the gas and turn it right back there. Yeah, it's this is a fun track. You see, this is a faster corner. Then you break it down hard again, back over the curb. You really want to hit the curb. That is more of, Derek, that's more of you want the car to settle. You hit the curb, you allow it to bounce off, and then you sweep it back, keep it low here, back to another sweeper, and then you completed a lap. And you got to be able to get the throttle off here to go there. But now that we've rode a complete lap with Abner Acosta, we'll do a race spot fan immersion here, and we'll be quiet for a second. You saw it right there in the fan immersion. both drivers, Derek, was absolutely sideways. You see they're catching lap traffic as well. That's Nicholas Hunter, Chad Kibbe right in front. We'll see how that affects the battle for the race win. Lowendick goes in there. Hunter's going to give them all the room, as respectful gets from an admin. And, man, what a good fight for the win. And quick little side note, Cervantes had an issue that allowed McLaughlin back by. That also allowed Thomas Sink to work up into 7th and 8th. That put Mark Kalin up to 6th. Then your top 5 stayed the same.
And speaking about Danny real quick, a thought I had earlier that I forgot to vocalize was that, here's Danny in that issue I think that he had. Let's watch, just got into 1. That's a common spot there. I mean, he's not going to be the first or the last guy to loop it in that corner tonight. He is the best hope, I think, tonight for Regenboog Motorsports, by the way. Reese is not in top 10 that I can see. Obviously, Regan's not here due to internet problems, so it's up to Danny tonight to fight for those points for that team.
Well, and that's complete opposite of what was last week's case in the season among. And if Danny had been here through the duration of the season, I believe that they would be a lot higher in the points championship due to his raw speed, and with Reese's win as well at Atlanta, and a good season thus far for these drivers. You see a lot of lap traffic now starting to play into the leader's favor. There's Adam Zimke, who's starting to be there. There's Colton Lane, Chad Kibbe right behind him in the number 23, and then you see our race leaders right there starting to catch up. And I'm not going to lie to you. I still think that Ted's faster. I think Ted's faster in certain sectors of the racetrack, but at this very moment, I would very quickly circle back to your point of, well, there's a pass right there. Joey is going to try to stay ahead of Elliott White as White's under the trying to attack here.
Yeah, Elliott put his first laps in earlier tonight when practice opened. So Elliott has not had a lot of laps here. And that says a lot for the natural talent of a driver, by the way. I was just gonna go cut the grass is what I thought he was gonna do, but he saved that pretty well there. This says a lot for the natural talent of a driver, by the way, that you can pick up a track like this and within 2 hours be this competitive. It's like, being in class with that one kid who doesn't have to study and just kind of aces the test. Man, that's frustrating.
A lot of practice time on this racetrack for a ton of these drivers. And I talking to Joey there, Joey mentioned that he potentially had P4 locked. I don't think he was expecting Elliott White to come charging back up through the field and getting a run on him there, but slide him up to that position, and he gets a well-needed spot. As you see, Mike Witt right there for SGE Esports. He's split in between these two. We'll see if Mike's able to potentially get his lap back here. He's currently sitting in the 18th position. Is it not the best run? And Bradley Holly goes up to P3 with this run. So he's sitting there in 3rd in the 184. Got the win a couple weeks ago. Knocked the monkey off of his back and was really just able to go out and just debrief for a second and have a little bit more fun. And now he finds himself 3rd here on the road course. Wanted the top 5 like you talked about. And there's the in-car, Brad. Booster seat and all.
Yeah, beautiful Star Wars stuff in the background there. Of course, Bradley came into tonight. Let's pull the numbers here real quick.
Still never seen Star Wars.
We're not going to talk about it again. I can't work with you like this. He came into tonight 33 points back on the points leader. Obviously, the points leader is not racing, so he'll take a drop week of 0 and move on. But this would be a good chance for Abner, Bradley, Elliott, even Nick and Ted and Joey to really close that points gap and have it here. Now, I want to ask you here your opinion. Of course, as we said, there's 4 road courses on this schedule. So we had we have the Glen, we had Road America, we had Chicago Street Course back in the beginning of the season. If I put you on the spot to rank them on preference that you think is either easier or that you want to drive, if you had to pick them to race, is this bottom tier for you?
What, road courses?
Yeah, is this the bottom of those 4 road courses? This is my bottom road course right now.
Absolutely not. I would say Chicago. I would not want to race the street course at all. I would have wanted to race here. I think this would have been a whole lot easier to learn than the street course. But no, I like Indy. I've had a couple starts on this road course, but it was in a different car. I've never put the Xfinity car out here, nor would I ever.
I think for me, it would be the Glen would be first. I think probably Road America second, Chicago third, and this would be last on my list of cars of tracks I want to drive. I think I don't know if it's the stubbornness of oval drivers because we want the oval back, that we hate this track so much, or why, but I don't want to drive this track.
I didn't care for the oval either.
There's a hot take.
Yeah, I agree with the producer. I don't think NASCAR belongs here. But what wings? He wants wings on the car. He wants the redacted car back here on the racetrack, and that should be, in my opinion, the only car that runs on this track.
Well, let's talk about that as a funny trivia note for a second. They were not the first car to run on this track, believe it or not, actually. The original idea of this course was created for F1 back in 2000. F1 was the only a major group who ran on this track for like the first 13 years.
Oh, I was talking about the oval. I don't care about the road course.
Okay.
No, the road course.
Sorry.
The road course, anybody on this planet could run. Like, I'm talking oval-wise. I think the oval should be just the 500. I don't think that we should see. I think now that they've put them there, they shouldn't take it away. But it just doesn't do it for me. I would much rather watch. I'd rather watch the 500 instead of watching the cars. I mean, the oval racing in the car of tomorrow here was, It really wasn't the hottest. I mean, the best racing on this racetrack was the 2005 season when Tony Stewart won it. I mean, that was some of the greatest racing ever. And then the Gen 6 car was really good here as well. As we take a look at Colton Lane here. Oh, he just missed it completely.
He just was playing farm sim and picked himself up a mowing contract. Something happened there. He was mowing the grass.
Yeah, but I think the gap has raised.
After I had a moment a second ago where I saw the back tires smoke a little bit, and
but I thought he was using him and saving here.
You could do that.
Oh, Derek!
You can do that. And
Come on now.
Leave me alone.
Ted was faster. Ted holds the lead by 1.5 seconds now, but
I'm gonna call this now. All kidding aside, I could be wrong. It does happen. This whole not pitting thing, I'm not a believer yet. Just want to point that out.
Well, now I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
I have a story for you about that song.
Not a trace.
After this, yeah.
He is loose. Ooh, Abner lost the race because he had to check up in the corner.
Here's the interesting part, and I'm not accusing by any means, but here's the question: did Abner check up there because he was loose, or did he check up to make sure he did the right thing for Ted Lowendick?
Well, I mean,
don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming Ted. Don't take that comment wrong. I'm just saying, could Abner have pushed harder if there wasn't a car in front of him? Let's save this for you. Maybe I'll give out a different opinion.
He didn't shift.
No,
he missed it
shift.
completely.
No, you're right. No, you're right. 100%. You're right.
Yeah, he missed that. He missed that completely there.
Remind me post-race to tell you about that song, though. I have a funny story for you that I cannot tell while we're live.
Well, here we go. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's going to equivalent to 2 laps.
By.
Yeah, it's 2 laps left on this race. You'll see the battle for 6. I gotta give it up here for Nick McLaughlin. 2 spins, still fighting for a top 6 spot. And he's probably, he's probably sawing some wood here. As he's going to go to the inside of Mark. Down to outside here.
Oh, look at those hands. Oh,
Mark,
my gosh.
Mark swung it out on him. Thomas Sink is there too. It's a 3-car fight here for 6th. He's beating the mess out of that wheel, ain't he?
Like an Ozzy rent or something. I don't, seriously, all kidding aside, but no, that's all, we're having some fun, but that's a sign that the driver's having a hard time. You should not naturally be moving the wheel that much if you have a good handling car.
Well, he talked about that the tires were hotter than a $2 pistol. Oh, Mark Kalin! Oh, Mark! Mark's had a great race. He almost threw it away right there into 1. That was, there he goes in 2.
Oh, Thomas Sink almost got loose.
Oh, Mark
Nice.
Kalin in the grass. Good save, Mark! Don't hit your buddy.
Side by side with Jeff Evans.
Don't hit your buddy. Oh, Danny's around. He's got a big gap back there to Daniel, and now you got teammates fighting it back here for the 9th place or the 8th place position. Mark and Jeff. Jeff's gonna be the bigger person there. Not gonna force it. Not gonna force his teammate in a bad spot. Man, crazy racing and. About to get the white flag here as soon as Ted crosses the start-finish line. There he is here, getting ready to finish up the last couple corners. Oh, he just started the lap. So this is the white flag. White flag's in the air for this race. We kind of lost him there for a second. Yeah, we lost the flagman for just a second. Ted's got a 1-second gap over Abner Acosta. You take a look there. Mark gets passed by Jeff Evans. They're going to see the white flag right here. Lap traffic could play a factor, Derek, as we come through the final few corners.
Lap traffic could play a factor. Lots of factors still to be decided here, but now he's going to go into the driver's left, and ooh, man, that's a sketchy way to get around that lapped car.
Let's go through it here.
I still have that question. I don't know how you're 2.5 liters short and make it around here. And if you run out of gas right here, hopefully Abner can figure it out in time and not rear end him.
Well, here we go. Final few corners at the Indianapolis road course. Ted Lowendick comes off of turn 14. He sees the yard of bricks, win number 1 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's going to come to the 72 of Ted Lowendick. What a run. He's won in almost every other road series. He gets it done here over Abner Acosta, and there's Bradley Holly bringing it home for Rosemary's Custom Homes. For Whataback Overdrive Racing P3, Elliott White 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is going to be Joey Tevin, who's just now getting on to the straightaway here. What an incredible race for the lead. What a great race all the way around. It was like it completely flew by for us.
It really did. That was a very fun race that happened very fast. Here's Nick McLaughlin coming in 6th. That's the 3rd of those teammates. Atomic Racing had an amazing night here at the road course, and they're going to get a lot of points here towards that team title. And of course, the problem is Abner and Elliott White also did really well.
Fastest lap, pole, and the win goes to Atomic TNT. Oh, and Mark! Hold on to it, Mark! He's going to come home 9th here. Old Danny. Danny's going to get 10th there. There's Danny closing up. Man, what an eventful race we saw. And for the people who are watching, yeah, this is weirdly enough, a lot of people put the money and said that we would talk about the 5, that the 5 would have won this race, but he got bested by the driver who circled the road courses and said, these are the ones that I should win. I'm expected to win here. And I believe Charles Sumner is out of fuel.
I mean, I knew some people would be. Yeah.
He's out.
He's definitely out of fuel. He's just on the scenic tour of the track. There you go. It's like the ending of Cool Runnings.
But he actually lost a spot there.
There's a movie reference for you, by the way. You have seen Cool Runnings, right?
No.
I quit.
Oh, Colton Lane. We'll take a look at your finishing results as Nick McLaughlin sets the fastest time with a 1:32.449 on lap number 2. Ted Lowendeck gets win number 1 of his PRL career for the NASCAR Xfinity Series with Abner Acosta P2, Bradley Holly P3. We'll talk to those 3 here in just a moment with Elliott White, Joey Tebben, Nick McLaughlin, Thomas Sink, Jeff Evans, Mark Kalin, and Danny Cervantes, rounding out your top 10.
Sorry, back in P11 is Daniel Knight with Doug Evans in 12th and Adam Zempicky in 13th. Charles Sumner, well, you saw right there, the last person leading lap in 14th. Then 1 lap down is Chad Kibbe, Nicholas Hunter, Colton Lane, Mike Witt, Ryan D. O'Connor. And how much further down does this list go of 1 lap cars? Let's take a look and find out. Here, that's it. And then Westerfield's 2 laps down. And then Brett Karakoff, 12 laps down. Reese Bogue, 17 laps down in that 4 car. We saw him early. And then, of course, the 2 drivers who didn't start, Richard Regan and Jacob Emery. So there you go. That's your unofficial results. Now, we still have that 1 question mark, and I put a request out to the admins to come talk to us. So we'll wait and see if that happens. But first, Terry, let's catch up with our leader.
We'll catch up with the winner here, who has no questions about the status of what he did here this afternoon. That's Ted Lowendeck. And, man, you sound like you're tired. I'm sure that was intriguing to say the least, but you brought it home in one piece, and you did something that, well, I'm sure you circled coming into the season, that you wanted to get a win on the road courses. Part of the reason you joined this season with us was the 4 that we had on the schedule. How does it feel to be a winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the PRL on Wednesday nights?
Oh, that was I don't even know what to say. That was fun. That was extremely stressful. I thought for at least 25 laps, Abner was just toying with me the whole time. He almost passed me at one point. We had a little battle there. He gave me a little love tap going into the 3rd to last corner once, and I mean that was fun. Oh my God, I don't even know.
Well, it's a good point stay for Atomic TNT, and I kind of want to hit the point of the tires for a second, because we talked to Joey, we talked to Nick, and they were very on point with, hey, we're sliding a lot. How did this feel different from racing in maybe the Lotus or the 86s or the thousands of other road cars we have here on the iRacing platform to come do it on this one?
I love having traction control. That's the only benefit to having those cars. You can just mash the throttle and not have to deal with any issues. But these things, I felt like if Abner got around me, he was going to just drive off. I was just trying to take care of the rears. It looks like I did a pretty good job of that. The left rear was kind of crying there at the end, but just looking over at the percentages, pretty solid on the right side. Left rear is the only one that really struggled through that. I thought lap traffic might play a factor, so I have no idea how I did that. It's interesting what happened at the start, though. I don't know if Abner's going to get a penalty or not. Hopefully not. I don't know. I'd hate to see that happen. But we were talking about it, and we're like, it is what it is. But hey, if it happens, it happens. So I don't know if our webcam's working tonight.
Yeah, you're back on the screen.
Oh, sweet. So I'm here. I don't know if you guys know, but I
he's
have
gonna
this
do it.
tradition when I win. It involves a shoe and some champagne. And if you guys don't mind.
Now, I have to ask why you're prepping yourself. So I was going to ask this question. This is how I came to know you, by the way, when watching old PRO broadcasts. But that's not the shoe you just raced in, right?
It is.
Oh.
So, cheers, boys.
That's disgusting. We'll ask you after this one, are you a pancake or waffle guy?
He's a
shoe
guy after
he's
this.
a shoe champagne kind of person.
That is a chug right there, Trey Radford.
Oh my gosh, he spilled it.
Anyway,
those are. I want to come off topic. Those are fancy racing shoes. Can we see that one more time if you don't mind? That it's a nice looking shoe.
Where'd you get those from?
IMB Racewear, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's a custom sim racing shoe, not a sponsor. But
we'll work on that for you. I mean, if you drink out of their product, I feel like you have to get sponsored now. I mean, you just drank damn near a cup out of there.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it. That's the first time I've had to do one of those in a while. So that's
next week there's a road course. I'm just saying.
Next week it's Watkins Glen, so we have another opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Pancakes or waffles?
Definitely waffles. Definitely.
Thank God. Chicken and waffles or regular waffles?
Ooh, both.
Okay.
Depends on the mood. Yeah.
Last side question. I went to move on. Have you ever put peanut butter on a waffle?
I have not. No.
Well, you drank champagne out of a shoe. Congratulations on your first ever Xfinity Series win here in the PRL. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen, and go celebrate this one with your team and the newest shoe, I guess.
Will do. Thank you to Joey and Nick. Nick put it on pole, so congrats to him for that. And Atomic Racing TNT. We joined this to have some fun, and boy, we're having some fun now.
That's what we like to see. And
you guys have a good evening.
We'll try. Y'all catch him in the points.
Champagne out of this shoe.
We're going to let him go enjoy some shoe champagne, but we'll head on over to P2. Abner Acosta, we don't know if he's got the penalty. Derek Watson, we also don't know if he's going to be too happy, and we also don't know what the points gap is going to be between the two team joints, but we'll find out here. Here's Abner Acosta with Derek Watson.
Abner, what a race tonight. There's a lot of storylines left, I think, but let's talk about that battle with Ted first. There was a lot of talk in the booth. Were you toying with Ted? Were you trying to save gas? Was he really faster? What was going on down there?
No, I was actually a lot faster than him. It's just on the spots that I needed to make a pass. So that would be like on the straightaway for curve 1 and on the backstretch. He was kind of even there, so I wasn't able to catch him in like those hard braking turns. But in the rest of the track, I was much faster. It's just you can't really make a pass, and not one without me kind of moving him, and I wasn't gonna really move him. So at the beginning, I was kind of waiting for him to make a mistake. He pretty much didn't do any, and he kind of parked the car where he needed to. But yeah, no, I was definitely not toying with him. I think at the end, my rears kind of got worn because I was trying to kind of get good exits on him and trying to like make that gap to send it. And I think I burned my rears, but it wasn't a factor of speed. It was just, it's really hard to pass if you don't get that run off turn 1 and the backstretch.
So, at the risk of bringing up the awkward topic, there's the whole start of the race to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you this: what's your viewpoint? I know you and Race Control had a minor talk during the race. What's your viewpoint of what happened on the start of the race?
That's something I'm actually very kind of upset about because it's 1,000% he never went. I don't know if he started in second gear or whatever he did.
He did confirm it to us. He did start in second.
Yeah, so he did start wrong, and I get it. Like, I got the black flag, and then I only lost the lead because I'm trying to type. My mic, for some reason, is not working in the race. So I'm typing while I'm having to beg to get my black flag clear. When it was clear that he didn't go, Brad is back there. She should have been able to see it. Charles, I get it. He was all the way back. Maybe he didn't see what happened, but the two back lines, they got on his, like, they caught him. So obviously, it wasn't like I jumped or it was close. It was a clear something on his end. He never went. And I'm having to beg for the black flag to look here for 2 laps. So I'm like typing, driving at the same time because my mic's not working. And then I got passed by, by Nick and Ted. And then I kind of had to play catch up from there. But I'm a little salty because I've been in other races where it happens and people get the black flag cleared right away. And I don't know. I feel like, Brad was right there. He shouldn't be able to see it, but I get it. I mean, it's Abner getting a black flag. Hey, we can get a little bit on advantage. I'm a little salty about it, so for sure.
All right, fair enough.
Tell.
Well, next week is the Glen. Now, I recall talking to you last week, and you said this was the track you preferred over the Glen.
Yeah.
But what are you expecting next week at the Glen?
I feel like it's less turns, so the Glen is a fun track, but I feel like the gap is going to be closer. Everybody's going to be, like, time-wise, people are going to be a lot closer, so it's going to be a better race for people to watch, I guess. Man, I think I won't have as big. I feel like I had a big advantage here as far as like a lot of turns, different type of turns. So I definitely think it will just be a closer race. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Well, the random question we've been asking people tonight, a little off topic. Abner Acosta, pancakes or waffles?
Oh, pancakes, 1000%.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay. Yeah. Well, we're sorry.
Yeah.
What do you put on your pancake?
I'm basic, so just syrup. That's it. Pretty much.
No butter? You don't put butter in your pancake?
Maybe a little bit of butter, but if there's no butter,
It's
it's not a decision maker. If I get a pancake without butter, I'll still eat it.
I'm tired of
Fair
it.
enough. Well, listen, all kidding aside, good job tonight, P2. We'll see you Sunday for the Cup race.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Well, that is Abner Acosta. I want to break format here, Terry, if you don't mind.
I want to pull both up here at the same time.
I want to do one. I want to do one at a time. Let's get Charles Sumner in first. He's the main admin. So Charles, thanks for stopping by. This is Derek and Terry up in the booth. It's a little bit of controversy at the start of the race with possibly Abner jumping, Abner not jumping. As the admin, what can you tell us about this?
So actually, that was one of the very first things I did when I got out of the car was look at that. Honestly, it was not a jump start on Abner's part. We looked at McLaughlin. He was in second gear and just didn't go. I was basing it off of too. Luckily, I could see my own telemetry, right? So watching when Barney raves, watch when I get on the gas, watching Abner's acceleration, it was all at the green flag. So there won't be any penalty.
Sweet, awesome.
Dope.
Well, that's what I appreciate. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll let you go.
Have a good one, gentlemen.
Good night, Charles. All
We'll
right.
catch up with P3 here this afternoon. It's Bradley Holly, one of the other admins in this series as well. And Abner not getting the penalty eliminates my first question of this evening. But you wanted a top 5, Brad. You come home with a P3 here this afternoon. Very good drive for the Whataback Overdrive racing machine. What did you find in this car, in this track combo, that made you feel a little bit more confident here at the road course?
Just keeping the tires underneath you. I've noticed in the officials that I've did this week that the harder you push, the quicker you're going to fall off, and I kind of try to find a perfect balance. Unfortunately, didn't find it quick as well as Abner and Ted, but I can still always work on it and get better.
So we go to Watkins Glen next week, and different style of road courses, right? We go from more of a technical 14 turn, we go to a high speed super speedway type road course in Watkins Glen, and then we go to the unknown of Daytona. What one of those tracks does Bradley Holly get win number 2 of the season?
If anything, with how quick Abner and Ted have been as of late on road, probably going to be Daytona if I have the smallest of chances.
Well, we watched Ted do the shoey. He drinks champagne out of a shoe. What would be your new winning tradition if you win again?
With how sweaty I get, there's definitely no way I'm drinking out of a shoe. So that's completely out of the question.
Maybe a sock?
No, that's too crusty.
Yeah.
That'd be too crusty to do. No.
Maybe you should build like a Lego set for us if you win. Just sit there and just try to put one together as quick as you can.
A Lego cup? Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah,
I got the pieces for it.
That'd be pretty cool. Just do a Lego cup and drink out of it or something. But off topic, completely unracing. It's silly time with the booth. You're in Texas, so hopefully you get this answer correct. Pancakes or waffles?
Depends on the day, but I
No,
mean,
it doesn't.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
What
Yeah, it
do you
does.
mean it depends on the day? Which one is your go-to? Are you a Lego my Eggo kind of guy, or are you just a bland-ass pancake?
I'll make my own pancakes from scratch.
Oh, okay. I'll accept that answer. But do you swing the pendulum? Would you rather have whatever?
Yeah.
Well, our producer said you sit on the fence, so you're automatically wrong. So we're waffle people up here. A chicken and waffle. I actually enjoy a good brisket waffle as well. So I'm kind of the weird one up here.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with chicken and waffles. I had that last week.
You should try a brisket waffle. You just sprinkle some brisket and some cheese in between 2 waffles and eat it. It's phenomenal.
Terry, there's no such thing as sprinkling brisket. It's either all of it or none.
Well, I was trying to be modest of what my brisket waffle looks like. It's pretty thick. But Bradley Holly, congratulations on your P3. We'll see you at Watkins Glen, where hopefully you can get win number 2 of the season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That's our top 3 right there. And Derek, I'll get your final thoughts real quick before we wrap this up. Fun time at IRP and at the road course as well. What did you think of the night?
I thought it was exciting. I thought it was fun. There was a lot of racing in that second race at the road course. I think maybe Atomic Racing broke through the glass ceiling, if you will, and showed they can be road course kings. So there's a lot to look forward to next week, and I'm excited. Are you going to be here, or are you taking another week off?
Damn, shots fired again. No, I'm here for the rest of the season. The last race that I will miss is Sunday for the baby shower. Past that, I am here 100% until the end of the season.
So I'll cheap plug. So you can catch, I think Dylan and I know it's I don't know.
Correct.
I think it's Dylan. Sunday doing this same course for the Cup
Correct.
Series.
So yes, so you can catch the PRL all week long, minus Friday and Saturday here on RaceSpotTV. For all of us here tonight, for our producer, Dustin Olis, for Derek Watson, I'm Terry Radford. You see it here. We will be at the conclusion of the truck race at Watkins Glen. We'll bring you the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Watkins Glen, August 16th, 2023. Same time, same place. We'll see you there. Have a great week. We love you. Good night, and enjoy some race spot action.